That's dumb.
I don't disagree with you whatsoever. I believe we are currently live, just so you're, aware.
Okay, I'm trying to find you on Twitch here.
Yeah. Let's go to Stream Manager. That's the wrong
There's the Mongooly Show. All right, let me mute this.
I just need to make sure. Channel points are inactive. Boop. Nope, not 3. Enter. And then we'll pin that. I'm sure somebody will mess it up anyways, but at least we tried.
I want just a...
There it is. I knew it. Hell FA already in there messing it up. Sorry.
I want just a Twitch chat, and I know there's a way to do it, but I always end up just taking like a full screen window of Twitch and just hiding the 10-minute or 10-second delayed version of us underneath whatever program we're running.
So, okay, this is new for you. So on Restream, if you go to that where you can see both of us, is there an option on your right for chat?
Oh, there is. Look at that. Oh, okay. But then I don't get to have the full screen. Well, how am I going to live without seeing myself so large on the screen, man?
I mean, that's what your stream is for. All right. Sorry, Hefe. It just is a little easier this way. And the nice thing about Restream that I really like, I don't know, there's probably a way to set it up on OBS, but I'm just so pissed off with OBS at the moment, is I can actually get like separate sounds, like, what are they called? Sound bars for me, you, music, everything. So like if the music is too loud, I can just delete it in post. Or if you're really quiet, I can bump you up in post. Like we're all separate sound levels.
So what's this we're listening to right now?
Oh, this is just crap. This is just indie rock. It's got a bunch of music AI.
Oh, okay. I was going to say this is a little bit loud for me for whatever we're listening to. That's better.
Definitely turn that way down. But I mean, if anybody in the audience is also like, yeah, that's still really loud, we can also just kill it. That's totally fine too. The only thing I haven't figured out how to do is get rid of, like, there's a little eye here with how many people are watching, and I just hate that. I'd much rather just have that turned off and just find out after the fact. But so be it. Okay, so
I'm playing with settings while you play with settings.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, I see. That's not what I want. Hi, I'm now black and white.
Old-timey run.
That's not what I thought it was. Trying to get rid of the green tinge from the green screen around the edges, and I forget which one that is. I think it's just similarity, but if I do similarity, then it's going to... See, this is going to make me disappear, too. It's going to make me look ugly. Okay, we'll put that back.
I don't doubt it, Hefe. I really don't. All right. Welcome everybody to the lobby, I guess is what we're going with.
The lobby.
Now at very least. With Dan and Brian, we're going to be talking about our summer previews. I don't know why I feel like I'm doing such an intro. We're definitely going to do a better one in a few minutes, but just sort of getting everything figured out and worked on and ready to go. Before we get started, okay, so do we want to have like the banter back and forth we talk about what we've seen recently? Do we want to have that be part of the main show? Or is that going to be something we're just going to do, and then when we do the main episode, we'll just start the actual episode then?
I don't know. It's always nice to warm up with something, and just jabbering about what we've been watching is real easy to do.
Oh, I agree. I just didn't know if we wanted that to be part of the actual, like when I edit it and put it on YouTube, is that going to be part of the show? Or is that just for the Twitch community that sees it live?
Depends on the length, I guess. Like, how long do you want these videos to be?
I like long form content. Like I have a 45-minute commute, so like I don't mind
keep it in there.
Hour and a half.
I
know a lot of people are like, after 7 minutes they check out and they're like, oh, my brain can't handle this.
You could keep it in and add a timestamp, which is the middle road, or you could just do both, or you could do one, just the one and have the banter for Twitch. It doesn't matter to me.
Fair enough. All right.
El Jefe, the right side of your screen seems to not be working then, buddy.
I don't... Sorry, let me bring up one more screen and then I'm good to go.
Let me see here. Something I can do. I'm going to do something here. Well, you're dinking around. I'm going to dink around and advertise what we're doing.
No worries. Much appreciated. Okay, tell me when you are good to go, and we'll start this thing up officially.
Okay, I'm just putting.
Okay, I really need to mute.
I'm
this
live
conversation.
on. No, I'm live.
Mute conversation for, let's say, 3 hours. Y'all should dink to dink. I don't know what that even. I mean, I have guesses, but no. Your screener off. I can see the gray in both your eyebrows.
Oh, there we are. That's what I wanted. Okay.
I don't really notice that much of a green. Like, there's a tiny little green line around your shoulders. I guess I can see it.
Yeah, I used to be able to. There's a way to fix that. I don't remember.
Fair enough. Oh, there's a cinematic music option.
Publish that. This is slightly better than what we've been listening to.
I was gonna say that does not sound cinematic, but okay. If you want to lie to me and tell me that, I'll go for it.
All right, I'm ready. I posted a message letting everybody know where we're at.
All right, sounds good. I'm going to take you off screen for a second, do a little brief intro, and then bring you on and say, hey, how you doing? And we'll get into what we've seen recently, all right? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Lobby. My name is Dan, and I'm going to be joined by my friend Brian. We're going to talk about all the summer movies that are coming out over the next little while. We'll watch the trailers and kind of decide, is this movie something we want to see in theaters, something we're going to wait till it comes to streaming, or something we're just going to pass on entirely? Brian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I miss not streaming, so it's nice to be back with some members of the community, and getting to talk about movies and television is one way to get me warmed back up in front of the camera.
Yeah, you've been off for a little bit and we've missed you, but it's nice to have you back. Nice to get a little conversation in. And you're right, it's easier just to sit back and talk about movies and just go with something you love. You don't have to stress about, what teams work or what's going on or what bugs are going on in the game right now. So this is a little bit easier to just sit back, relax, have a nice drink of, well, I've got water with me here. That's kind of lame, but whatever.
I got water too. I got sparkling water over here.
Oh, you got me beat. All right. So we haven't talked in a couple of weeks. Have you seen anything interesting before we get into our main topic?
Oh, that's, I guess the quick answer is no. The things that I've been enjoying are just continuations of TV shows like The Boys. I picked up Your Honor, which is actually turning out to be a little slow. Like, episode 1 really got me hooked, and then it started slowing down some, and people tell me that the first season's a real drag. So I may drop that one because time is important to me. The other one that
what is Your Honor?
It's got Bryan Cranston, and he is a very straight arrow, really good judge, and his career is taking off. Everything's going in the right direction, and then his son is involved in a very, very accidental hit and run accident. And the person that his son kills is the son of the biggest mob boss in Chicago. And so they can't go to the police with this. He's trying to cover this up and save his son's life. And so it's the straight and narrow judge who's trying to do all sorts of not legal things. It's a fun watch, but it is slowing down a little bit. It's not as exciting as like Breaking Bad was or anything. Still pretty good. I'm going to keep going for a little bit, but I'm prepared to jump away from that one. And then, of course, The Boys is amazing. I really like The Boys. It's action-packed.
You're on season 4? You're on the new stuff?
I'm on season 2, actually.
Oh, wow.
No, okay. Yeah. So I've got some catching up to do, and I keep seeing all the trailers for season 3 and 4, and I can't wait to get there, but I have a limited amount of time. And then the other thing that I've been watching is my wife started me on the Divergent movie. It's a trilogy right now, but I guess there's a 4th movie coming.
Okay. Is that a new one or is that the one from like 7 or 8 years ago?
Yeah, it's like 2014, 15, and 16, I think, or something.
I never saw them, but I was aware of them at the time.
It's a
Hunger Games light.
Hunger Games knockoff. Like, it is almost blow for blow the same movie. There are some points in the movie where I don't know what's going to happen. They surprise me. They kill off characters I didn't think they were going to kill off. And so I'm not completely thinking this is terrible. I do watch it, and I don't really know what's going to happen next. The 3rd movie has really taken a turn. But everything else about the show, the movie, is super cliche. All the characters are very cliche. The dialogue is cliche. Everything about it is, I've seen it, done it, been there, but it's kind of entertaining, and my wife was liking it, so I'm watching that with her.
That's fair. We went through the Hunger Games trilogy. Well, I guess not a trilogy. All of the Hunger Games movies somewhat recently with the twins, and one of them specifically really liked it. So then we picked up whatever the newest one is, the prequel movie, and she really enjoyed that one too. And I was just like, yeah, it has like an hour and a half that's really good, and then it keeps going for another hour and a half, and you're just like, oh, this one just will not stop. But the actual Hunger Games trilogy I enjoyed. Never got into Divergent. I did enjoy Maze Runner, which is another one that came out right around the same time, but I never watched any of the sequels. Double O Gold has a great point, a very unfortunate point, I guess. Rest in peace, Donald Sutherland, who, of course, starred in the Hunger Games movies. He passed away earlier today. I assume just from natural causes. I actually don't know that one, but he was well up there. 1935, I want to say, to 2024, so 89 or something. Like, just an absolutely huge life.
What do you call a series of movies when it goes past a trilogy? A quadrilogy? Like,
it depends on how far past the trilogy it goes.
Shouldn't they just have, like, it's either a movie, its sequel, a trilogy, or a series? Like, isn't that it? But I think there's actual names.
I'm sure there are actual. Quadrilogy is about as high as up I can go. If you get to like 9, I have no idea what a 9-ilogy would be.
Yeah.
In fact, now I'm calling it 9-ilogy. That's actually what it is. Coined here. Oh man, it's a franchise. That's a good way of putting it. I like.
There we go, Bubba Hotep with franchise.
All right. So you're still okay. So I started The Boys. Absolutely loved season 1. Got through season 2. Got about halfway through season 3 and just stopped caring. I don't think like the show's well made, and I can't fault it in any way. I just never went back. Like I didn't like purposely like, okay, I'm done, I'm out. Like there was no moment.
Just got distracted, kind of.
I just moved on with my life, and I realized now that it's been season 4 is out, so it's probably been like 2 years, and I just never went back.
Yeah, I just fell off. Like I started The Boys, and I thought it was amazing, and I think I finished season 1, and I was gonna start in on season 2. And I just never did for some reason. And then I came across Gen V, and I was like, "Oh, that's right. I remember this show. I really liked it. Let's go back." And then, of course, there was at the same time there was Invincible, which is like the cartoon version of The Boys, in a way. And I really liked that as well. So I've just kind of been going after them now again.
I think Invincible is. I mean, they're both very graphic, and they're both on Amazon. But I like the story of Invincible quite a bit more. At least the first season. Second season again was fine, but the first season I thought was incredible when I first saw it.
Right.
I liked. I don't know.
Invincible
there are moments in The Boys where it feels like they're shocking to be shocking, whereas Invincible feels like it's the natural progression of the story.
I agree with that. Yeah. Invincible was horrifying in its brutality, and they use that violence to express how evil or different the characters were from normal. And in The Boys, it does feel like, hey, let's just blow somebody's head up now because we haven't done it in a while.
Yeah,
you know.
There's a scene that you haven't gotten to yet that is exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know if it's been spoiled for you or not. I won't say it here, but I want to say season 3 opens up with something where you're like, oh,
yeah,
okay. That was just to do it. There was no story baseline there. But anyways, you'll get there. I just started watching The Acolyte, which is the new Star Wars TV show.
Oh, you know what? I watched episode 1 of that as well.
What did you think of just one episode?
I don't think I'm going to pick up episode 2.
That's fair.
I was they over-explained things, and it was very annoying to me.
Okay.
I don't like when things are over-explained. There was a previous Star Wars show. I can't remember what it was, but it was the guy from Rogue One, and it was kind of his origin story. It was really good, and I really enjoyed that one. It's like how the Rebels starts. Yeah, Andor, that's it. Thank you. I really liked that one. You have no idea what's going on most of the time, and you really have to pay attention to it. This one, I could have stopped watching and gone and made a sandwich and came back and still not known everything that was going on. It was so over-explained to me, and rather just the dialogue was so boring to me. I didn't find it interesting at all.
So I watched like 10 minutes of the first episode, and then I watched the rest of episode 1, 2, and 3 this afternoon. So I'm not caught up. There's still one more episode to go. I've heard horrendous things about 3 and 4. 1 and 2 I didn't mind so much. I didn't love them, but I didn't mind them. 3 was boring, if I can just put it plainly. And I've heard 4 is just atrocious. So I don't know that I'm going to keep going. I'm certainly not. I might not make it all the way to the end if I do. It's like they set it up as if it's going to be like a murder mystery. And then 6 minutes into the show, they tell you who did it and how they got away from it. Oh, it's twins. And you're just like, I thought this was a murder mystery. Like, what are we doing for the rest of the 8 episodes then if you're already...
My sister's still alive. And you're like, okay, so what's the point now? We're just...
Yeah, like you could have let that go for a couple of episodes of like, did she or didn't she? Like, what's going on? Did she get her mind wiped? Like, what's happening? No, we're just going to explain it to you right away. Just
because like you said, the first 6 minutes of the show, I was like, I'm intrigued. How come she seems like a normal person and not very murdery like she was in the previous sequence? And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, my sister's still alive. She's a twin.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the story.
That's that.
What else is there to watch?
I didn't like that how easily she took a Jedi out. That was a little weird to me.
Yeah.
And then at the very end of the episode, I think it's the end of episode 1. Where they see like the dark Sith on the rock or something, he just lights the lightsaber up, and they're like, "Oh, you like a Jedi fears no laser or no steel." I'm like, "Well, you just killed someone with a steel knife, and not even a very big one." So
I thought that same thing. Yeah, the Jedi is the weapon, and I'm like, okay, this doesn't even make sense. And then like, where was like? I don't know, that whole scene where she's looking at him across the rocks as he lights up his lightsaber, and this audio is being pumped in and fed in. And I'm not really sure if he's like talking to her via his mind or if that was a previous conversation. The audio is being overlaid. It was very discombobulated for me. And I got to that point. I was like, yep, there is no redeeming features for this show. And I just walked away from it.
Yeah, I've seen everything Star Wars, so I'm tempted to keep going, just like power through. And also, I'm like you, where I'm like, I only have so much time in the week, and like, why am I spending it on this if I'm not really enjoying it? So we'll see. I got one more episode to be caught up, and then I might decide from there whether I'm done or not.
And then you watched the Korean version of Old Boy, didn't you?
Oh, I sure did. Now, you have not seen that one yet.
I have not seen the Korean one. I keep trying to watch that, but I don't have enough time. I saw the American version, and I really enjoyed that huge twist ending. I don't know if we can talk about the twist endings because that's a huge part of the movie, right?
I feel like we couldn't do it. Like last week, I had my brother on. We talked about our top 5 twist endings, and there was a spoiler alert for that entire episode. We're just like, guys, we are going to ruin these movies. Stick around at your own risk. But just to do it like in a regular episode, I feel like we need to give people some warning if that's the case. Real Bubba Hotep saying, "What'd you think, Dan?" I wasn't a fan, and maybe that's because people had been telling me for like 16 years about how great this movie is and how big the twist is. I didn't know what the twist was. It did surprise me, although I thought about it at one point in the movie. So like, I'm not going to say that I predicted it. But it was like a fleeting thought where I'm like, oh, I wonder if this. And then I moved on with my life. And then by the end, I'm like, oh, it was that. Okay, cool. But it's not like sometimes you're like The Happening, let's say. I predicted that twist. And it was like every time something happened, you're like, oh, yeah, no, I'm right. Oh, yeah, no, I'm right. Oh, yeah, no, I'm right. And then you were right by the end. Like, that's when I'm like, no, I definitely saw that one coming. I would not say I saw this coming, although I did think of it briefly. My issue is, and I've talked to some friends about this quite a bit, Dan and Brian in the evening. Sorry, I had to do that as Troy and Abed. I don't know if you know that reference or not. Sorry, that's a different thing. I like dialogue. I like character pieces, but I need to have a character that I can latch onto, somebody that I actually enjoy, somebody that I can like bond with. There was not a single person in this movie that I enjoyed, that I liked, that I wanted to, see what happens to them. Like the main character could have died halfway through and I'd be like, okay, cool, moving on. Like it just didn't grab me in any way, shape, or form. So it was well made. There are some incredible scenes in there. The cinematography and the acting is phenomenal. There's a scene in it that is very reminiscent. I mean, when I say reminiscent, it probably inspired the hallway fight in the Daredevil TV show. Like they literally set this fight up in a prison hallway, essentially. and then they took the one wall out so you can see the entire thing like it's 2D, like Street Fighter or something, like they're just going back and forth. Incredible fight scene, all one shot, like really, really well done. But at the end of the day, I just didn't care enough about the characters. So when the twist happened, I was like, whatever. It was a dark movie. Also,
the American version of that has some really cool fight sequences where the camera is following them along, that 2-dimensional, moving through rooms and stuff like that, all one lengthy shot. And I really enjoyed those. Anytime that you have a long scene from cut to cut, and it takes a long time, whether it be dialogue or a fight sequence or whatever, I have a lot of respect for that because they had to practice and get all of that right in one shot. And so I always I enjoy those.
Yeah, and everybody has to nail it, right? Like if one person messes up,
right,
you got to go back to the beginning and start it all over again. So, did you ever see? Sorry, we're going off on a tangent. Did you ever see 1917? It was a World War I movie where it was essentially the entire movie was supposed to be one shot. It wasn't, obviously. Like you can tell
yes,
there are like
yes,
subtle
I remember that. Yes,
but and for the most part, it's all one shot. And it's like that's very well done.
There's like 2 points where he like gets hit and blacks out and wakes up, and there's a time that passes. But for the most part, yes, it's all one shot. And I went in because I heard about that. I was very impressed with the movie. It didn't bother me that there were a few stopping points. Yeah. I still found that to be an incredibly amazing achievement to be able to pull it off. As someone who's really into watching that kind of cinematography and stuff like that, I could see how they piece this entire movie together from lots of bits, and how it could be done. But it was still, I mean, it's amazing to watch. Like I used to watch 24, the show 24, all the time. And I found that really interesting that whenever they were driving across LA, it was the exact same length as a commercial break. But that was a really cool show too, that you had a chunk of time that was exactly 1 hour, and that was the segment. So this is cool.
Cool. Anti-Valor is asking about Community. Are you just clarifying that was from Community, or you don't know what Community is? Because if not, turn us off and go watch Community. That's why I watched One Shot of the Dead. Very B-rated movie. Just yes. I gave you 2 options. Yes is not a good answer.
From Community, okay.
Okay, good. All right. I also saw. Actually, I saw one of the movies we're going to be talking about later, which is Inside Out 2. My family and I went to the drive-in to check this one out. My youngest is only 6, so it's a very late night for her. So even though the second movie was also a family movie, because she was still awake and it was coming on midnight, we're like, well, you should probably just call it a night and head home. Mm-hmm. But have you ever seen Inside Out 1? Did you enjoy it? Inside
Out 1 is one of my more highly rated kids films. It gets you in the feels. I think it was a really well put together, very unique and different, and great characters. When they drop down into the valley and they have to leave, what's his face behind, Bing Bong behind. Oh my God, I still tear up watching it. It's amazing. So I really like Inside Out. I'm hoping that Inside Out 2 holds up to its original.
I didn't like it as much. I feel like Inside Out 1 is pretty much flawless beginning to end, and there's a couple of scenes in this one where I'm like, I could have done without this whole sequence, but for the most part, it won me over with the idea of the new emotions. When I first heard that anxiety was going to be an emotion, I was like, oh, okay, here we go. And they actually do a really good job of bringing her in and explaining why she actually is kind of important, but also why it can go too far. And so I really enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to, but I still think the first one is better, a little bit more thought out. Kind of like, the sophomore albums when a band has like 20 years to think of the first movie or the first album, and then like a year and a half to come up with the second album, right?
Right.
Still good, just not quite as good. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Kids enjoyed getting it to a theater. So that was a ton of fun. The drive-in, not theater, but still. Shall we move on to our summer previews if you didn't really have anything you saw to talk about?
I think that's it for me. I can't think of anything. I just didn't have much free time.
Did you ever finish X-Men 97? We never did talk about that.
Yes, I did finish X-Men 97. Okay. I thought that was fantastic. I think that the character that plays the head of the Sentinels, I want to say Bishop Bastion. Yes. I liked Bastion. I liked their portrayal of Bastion. I know it was different, but I found it really good. I liked the character. I like what they did with it. I like all the little adjustments and things that they changed about it from previous material. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I'm excited. I can't wait for it to come back. I'm very curious about Wolverine's status because he's having a hard time healing right now, which I've never really seen that happen too much. So and where are they and why? And I mean, I kind of understand, where they are, but I'm curious how it's going to affect the timeline now.
Yeah. So what they're doing is they're taking a bunch of storylines from the 90s and kind of all mix-matching them together. So I never read Operation Zero Tolerance, so I don't actually know very much about Bastion. So this is essentially a new character. I knew he existed, and that's pretty much the best I could have given you. But the Magneto ripping the skeleton out of Wolverine is straight from... I was buying myself time, and I still didn't get there in time. Oh, it's a very famous comic book, but the comic book is only famous for that, like, 2 panels where Maggie
rips it out. Yes,
Fatal Attractions, where he rips it out. The rest of the storyline is kind of bullshit. So the fact that they were able to just take out the rest of that story and add it to this one, I thought was incredibly smart on their part. You still get that iconic scene without all the ridiculousness that goes along with it. So I really like that, and that does lead us into probably a 30 to 40 comic arc, which is like 2.5 years of Wolverine being like feral, bone claw Wolverine. He doesn't have his adamantium. So the fact that they're kind of like, he doesn't just heal and get up right away after the fact, like they're probably going that direction, which I would be totally on board with, as long as it's not like this is who he is for the next 3 years. Like if they do like half a season of Bone Claw Wolverine where he's living out in the forest and he's gone feral, that's where I actually started reading comics. Like one of my first comics is Wolverine, like just out in the middle of the woods, totally crazy. Like he can talk. He's not totally crazy, I guess, but he's contemplating whether or not he's too much of a danger to the X-Men to actually live with them, or if he should just go off into the Rockies and like be a wolf.
Right.
So I'm really excited to see if that's one thing they go with in season 2. Again, I don't want it to be the entirety of season 2, but I'd love it if it's a couple episodes and not just like 10 minutes and be like, oh, in the first 30 seconds of episode 1, he gets his adamantium skeleton back. So I thought this was amazing. I'm really curious where they're going with season 2. I know they fired the head honcho of season 1, but it wasn't until after my understanding is he's already written all of season 2. So I'm hoping season 2 stays at that level of quality, and then hopefully they can bring somebody in on that level for season 3 to finish it off, because it is only supposed to be 3 seasons.
Why did they fire him?
I don't know that that's been made entirely public. My understanding is he has a non-pornographic OnlyFans page, and that's somehow against Disney's code of conduct, even though it is not.
Right, Disney has.
I don't know why you would have an OnlyFans page that is, just you sitting around talking. That sounds like Twitch to me, but that's apparently what it was. I'm not looking into it, so I'm just like, okay, you do you. So that's the only thing I've really heard, but nobody's made any official statements as to why he was let go. He was let go like 2 days before season 1 came out, though, which is a very weird timing. So it's got to be something. We need to get rid of this guy now and not have him be part of the headline. But I think he did a phenomenal job with season 1. I hope season 2 is just as good. And if they can finish off season 3, I will be very happy.
I remember the Bone Claw arc of Wolverine, and I remember hating it. And I was like, I couldn't wait for it to be over. But in hindsight, I really am glad that was a thing with Wolverine. That turned out to be like, it was like a pivotal moment. And so, well, not a moment, it was stretched for a while, but like, I hated it at the time I was in it. But now, like, there were sequences in some of the movies with Hugh Jackman where he travels back in time and he's got bone claws when they come out. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Not at all the same, but it was kind of cool to see the bone claws again. And so I'm hoping, like you, I'm hoping that is at least 3 or 4 episodes that they deal with that as a subplot to the main story.
Nice. All right. So what we're going to be talking about today is we've got a list of all the summer movies, at least the ones that I saw on a list. I went to a certain website and just like typed in like, what summer movies are coming out this year? Honestly, I did this last year, 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. And it felt like there was so many more movies that I was at least kind of excited for or had heard of. I was looking through this one, I'm like, oh, there's some slim pickings here.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. There are definitely some that I don't know them. There are some that I'm curious about, and I haven't watched a trailer in a while. So some of these trailers are going to be new to me, even though the movies are have been out for a while. The trailers have been out for a while. So we'll see how this goes.
I'll be
Now-
honest. I was actually like, there were times when I'm laying in bed and I'm like, I need to go to sleep, but I really want to watch something. I should at least, I should do this for Dan. I should have something to talk about. Oh, but I'm so tired. And then I was like, you know what? We're going to be watching trailers. I'm not going to worry about it because I'm really looking forward to watching all these trailers right now. So it was kind of my excuse. That's why I didn't actually consume that much cinema or anything lately.
Nice. All right. Now, technically, summer movies start in like May and go till September. So I've got a couple here, but they've already been in theaters. You're saying you're a little bit pressed for time. Do we want to just skip those and go straight to the ones that are not out yet?
I'm okay with watching everything you want to watch. Some of those ones that I was like, these are in theaters right now, but honestly, I think I've seen like the Furiosa trailer one time. I'm not even sure it's the same trailer that you've seen. And that's about it on your list of trailers and stuff. So I'm okay watching whatever you want to watch.
Fantastic. Let's just make sure that people can actually hear us. We had I don't want to say technical difficulties, just had to figure it out right away. So if I do this to bring up the actual screen, all right. Give me half a second. Stop sharing screen. Start sharing screen. Let's go with this one. Share.
What's up, Lord Richter, Deadpool? Hey, guys.
There we go. Nope, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. All right, just let us know if you can hear this, audience. Just make sure that something... First off, Run, can you hear that?
Yeah, I can. Cool. Definitely.
Audience, can you hear that?
I think Elder can hear it.
Fantastic. All right, so the first one we're going to talk about is already out. It didn't do all that well, but I really like the franchise, so I'm kind of curious about you in this one at least. I have not seen the trailer for this one, so this is something I'm going into blind. I don't know why YouTube insists on having like mini trailers before the trailers. That like 3-second clip before the actual show starts. That makes no sense to me, but here we go.
Dan, you might want to kill the music that you got playing.
Good call. Good call. This is why we keep you around.
Yep, I'm here for something.
Yep.
Are you familiar with the concept of evolution?
Interesting. Haven't seen that logo in a long time.
In their time, humans were capable of many great things. They could fly like eagles fly. They could speak across oceans. But now it is our time. And it is my kingdom. We will learn. Apes will learn. I will learn. And I will conquer.
My understanding is this is a couple of 100 years in the future.
Legend says
I'm surprised the humans are still wearing like
lived
jeans and
side by side.
khakis.
Impossible as that may seem.
Why do they hunt her?
She's smarter than most.
The elders did not tell us everything about this world.
Bend for your king.
Apes hunt humans. That is wrong.
Together, you will die.
No, together, strong.
Like it looks really good. Like just visually, it looks really good.
Sure, it looks good visually, but It also looks like yet another Planet of the Apes movie to me.
That's totally fair. Not a fan. Then.
I mean, I'm probably gonna tune and watch it, like I've done all of them, because they are entertaining. Things blow up, and there's horse chase scenes and lots of fun stuff going on there. Incredibly attractive female lead who looks great without any makeup, surprisingly.
No.
Yeah. It's probably going to be one of those movies where I'm going to have to suspend some belief systems for a while, but I'll get through it. I think ever since Mark Wahlberg entered the franchise,
No.
I haven't really been much of a fan of these. They're kind of entertaining to watch, but I don't get too attached to them. This looks like it's just going to be yet another one.
I didn't like the Mark Wahlberg one at all. And so I didn't even try the first one after that, which is just a total series restart. It might have just been called Planet of the Apes.
I think so, yeah.
And then when I finally did, it was actually like, oh, this is actually a unique. Like, this is different from what I was anticipating it being. It's like the very, very start of it. Whereas, of course, obviously the ones from the 60s, like the Planet of the Apes, already been going for a while. And then the one in 2001 is like a direct remake, or pretty much a direct remake of that. This one's more of like how it got started in the very first place. I actually have enjoyed them. They're not ones I go back and watch all that much, but I have enjoyed them. I'm definitely not checking this one out in theaters, obviously, because it's probably not in theaters anymore. But I checked this one out on like a Thursday if I was bored, if I had some time.
Right.
Like, yeah, okay. I'll put that
For
on.
me, it's like a Transformers movie. Like, it's entertaining to watch, but I just can't like get attached to anything. I think one thing that is hard for me is the uncanny valley with the ape characters. They're very, very close to being human with human expressions and emotions, but yet I can't make that quite connection. And I mean, ever since the beginning, they've done a great job with the CGI special effects, how it all looks and everything. But at the same time, it's a hairy ape, and I have trouble connecting with that. And usually the human characters are either evil, bad characters, or they're kind of, they're not really human anymore. They've degenerated or something like that. So it's just really hard for me to find characters that I can attach myself to and really care about.
That's totally fair. I liked how I think the one previous to this one, you started seeing the humans actually start to devolve. So like you had, I want to say Woody Harrelson, but I'm probably wrong on that.
It was Woody Harrelson.
Actually losing language. Yeah. I thought that was kind of a cool touch to it. Like you're actually seeing them start like, oh, it's actually.
I think that was probably my favorite in the entire franchise, was that one with Woody Harrelson. Again, I'm a big fan of Woody Harrelson, but at least it was a character, even though he was a bad guy, he was a character I could relate to and understand. And I think they did a good job with him. But then he devolves, and it was kind of like he was destined to lose no matter what. In the end, you're like, he wasn't going to win no matter what. Like,
no.
So, yeah.
This isn't the story of the humans winning. This
right.
is the story of the humans losing the planet to the apes. Yeah. By the time we get to the 9th one, then we're gonna have an astronaut coming from outer space and be like, "Oh, now we have." But
then it is
and
this idea of what is humanity. Like you have this ape in there that's trying to rescue the girl, and that's supposed to be the human in them. That's the kindness, the caring, the compassion for others, that sort of thing. So these are all interesting threads and everything. But like I said, I just have trouble connecting with some of those characters.
All right. Fair enough. Shall we move on to Mad Max Furiosa, another one that is already out, did a little bit better, but again, not all that well, unfortunately. Now, this is one of the ones where we are going to be talking about this with Will, who aka Cleaning Agent, in a couple of weeks. We're going to be going over, not this one, but the Mad Max franchise and giving that a rating. So that's going to be, I want to say July 18th, the three of us are going to get together, go over all of the Mad Max movies and rate those. And that's going to be our very first episode of our rating.
And so ultimately, we're going to have to get to watching this movie that we're about to watch the trailer of, right?
Theoretically. I'm not going to disparage you if you don't spend $20 to go to the movie theater to go see this one. So if that doesn't happen in time, so be it. But other than that, let's check this one out. So I guess I should ask, maybe I shouldn't, because I'd kind of ruin our rating. Never mind. We'll just move on. I was gonna say, do you like this franchise? But yeah, we'll figure that one out on July 18th.
Whatever you have to do, however long it takes, promise me you'll find your way home.
gorgeous shot. I wish it was real.
Furiosa. Give me this promise.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
That was not the voice I was expecting coming out of that man.
I'm Furiosa!
The darkest of angels.
The question is, do you have it in you to make it epic?
All right. Can you hear me during the trailer?
A little bit. Were you talking during that one? I heard you talk during the last one.
Okay, just a little bit, not a whole lot. I couldn't tell if you were hearing, like, you wouldn't react to anything I said. It's like, I don't know if you can hear me right now or if I'm just.
Oh, I didn't hear you talking during that one. I didn't hear you talking during that one. So maybe, I don't know. So this one, the trailer positions this as, it says it's her Odyssey, right? So when I hear Odyssey, I think Iliad and the Odyssey, like big, epic, life-spanning, life-changing events. It's visually stunning. The scoring of this sounds pretty good. I hope that carries over to the movie. Lots of interesting characters from previous films that I'd like to see their origins and how they got there and all that stuff. I just don't know if this movie's going to deliver as much as that trailer is promising.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a couple scenes at the very beginning where I'm like, this looks absolutely stunning, but I don't trust that this isn't green screened or CGI or something. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't quite look right. And then there's definitely a couple of scenes where I'm like, no, there's no way. There's no way this is practical. And I feel like, I've only seen Fury Road one time, but I feel
so much of that was practical rather than
and
special.
you can tell. And it just this doesn't look that. This just looks fake. And that
when they use the special effects,
Fury Road out of it.
When they use the special effects in Fury Road, it added to what they had there, making the big windstorms and the lighting and stuff when they're out on the roads and everything. This one looks like they're utilizing it. Like, I feel like they're in a chair, much like I am, and they're building the car around them so that they can blow stuff up.
There's probably a frame around them, and that's it.
Yeah, and so I'm kind of hesitant. I can live with that. I don't. I think Chris Hemsworth as the big bad is an interesting choice. I'm curious. They had that sequence where he's driving that chariot. That's kind of cool, and I like that visual illusions and everything. But I don't know how Chris Hemsworth is going to play that character from Fury Road.
Yeah,
and likewise, I don't know how are they going to get this Furiosa character to the position where we met her in Mad Max Fury Road. That's what my biggest question is, because what I'm seeing in this doesn't lead me to where we met her. So I don't know. I definitely want to watch this.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't seen. I saw Fury Road once when it first came out on like DVD or whatever. So I don't remember her character well enough to be like, oh yeah, no, this is definitely that. Like she has a metal arm and face paint, and like, man, I'm pretty sure like it's Charlize Theron as opposed to Anya Taylor-Joy. The other thing is like outside of Thor, Chris Hemsworth hasn't really led a movie or not a successful one. Anya Taylor-Joy has not really led a movie. Like these are not huge stars to be trying to pull something like this. Whereas last time you had Charlize Theron and oh my goodness, Bane.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, who were I feel like both bigger stars to at least back this project. Now, granted, he had a mask on as he tends to do, but
and very little dialogue in the movie too. It honestly, Fury Road was a lot more about Furiosa than it was Mad Max. And in Fury Road, they're positioning it as she's trying to get home back to her origins. But in Fury Road, she was just trying to, I don't know, redeem her soul kind of by letting the girls go home. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm just really curious where this is going to take us. Did you see Chris Hemsworth in that, was it like Spider Egg or something, where he was like the lead scientist on this think tank where they tried drugs out on people?
Oh, yes. I
forget the name of the movie.
Forgot about that movie.
That was a very different character for him, and I thought he did a really good job. I hated him in the movie, not because he was a bad actor, but because he was such a good actor and made me hate his character. Yeah,
I definitely know what you're talking about. I've seen it. I want to say it's like, is it Taron Egerton is the one that
I think so.
On? I really did like it, but I'd completely forgotten about that movie until you just mentioned it. Like,
yeah, and to me, a movie like that shows that he's got the chops to step outside of his traditional Thor role and take on something new. So I do have high hopes, and I'm not saying he can't pull this movie off, but I think that those are some big shoes to fill, and it's an interesting character for him to progress and change. And I just don't know where they're starting with this movie and how they're going to get to where we met these characters in Fury Road.
So, sounds like this is a streamer for you. You're going to check this one out when it comes out.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch the streaming. If we end up getting to this in our franchise review, I will go and see this in theaters and check it out if I need to, if it's still there.
I feel like because of the episode of our rating that we're doing, I'll probably watch this. And if that wasn't the case, I don't even know if I would bother with this one on streaming.
Oh, really?
It just didn't. I mean, at least Fury Road was practical, and you can kind of be like, "How did they do this?" But this one looks so obviously CGI. They're just like, "All right, I know how to do this." Like, it just doesn't.
I think I'm watching this one out of curiosity for the origins of these characters and how they progress. I don't actually have that high hopes for it. I don't think I'm going to be blown away. I just want to see how the plot travels.
That's totally fair. All right, moving on. We have our first movie in June. This one came out in June 7th. It's Bad Boys: Ride or Die. Now, do you have any love for this franchise going into this one whatsoever?
It's gone downhill with every iteration of the franchise. I enjoyed the first one a lot. The second one was like, okay, they made a sequel because the first one made money. And everything past that has been... I'm really surprised. When I saw this, I thought... I didn't even realize that this was a new iteration in the franchise. I just thought that, like, I don't know what I thought. I was very confused. Yeah. I don't know why they're making another one in this series. I'm not excited for this at all. I haven't seen the trailer. I don't know anything. So we'll watch this trailer and see if it moves the needle for me. But I don't have high hopes for this at all.
I liked the first one. I hated the second one with fire. I just hated every second of it. The third one actually turned me around a little bit. I enjoyed it quite a bit more. So I'm hoping it's kind of like on an upswing. But that said, I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I don't have high hopes for it. Let's check this one out.
Trailer is coming out
right now.
Right now.
Right now.
The
trailer.
Yeah, right now.
Right now. Right now.
Check it out.
It's hot.
Come on, Mike, slow down.
We are late.
My stomach, Mike. I need a ginger ale.
Get a ginger ale and nothing else.
Are those dogs fresh?
Put them in yesterday.
Give me one. Put some relish on that motherfucker.
Open the register.
This is literally what happened in the first one.
Is that Skittles on the counter, Marcus?
This ain't mine, Mike.
Yes, it is.
Shut the fuck up.
Marcus, get in the car.
He has a gun to my head.
Want to deal with him? You want to deal with me?
Sorry, sir, but I gotta go. Call 911.
Aren't you the police?
Hey, Reggie, did you eat my snacks?
No, sir.
You ate my snacks, didn't you? You need to get a job.
I'm a U.S. Marine, sir.
Well, then you need to deploy.
We now have evidence that the late Captain Conrad Howard of Miami PD was working directly with drug cartels for years.
Captain Howard is being framed.
What the hell? He's texting us from the other side.
No, he's not, Marcus.
If he's seeing this, I'm probably dead.
Fuck! Fuckers! Fuck them all! I don't know how high up this shit goes, but don't trust anybody. You're my bad boys. Now clear my name.
You should be careful.
You're being set up, detectives.
We got 2 suspects, Lowry and Burnett. They're armed and dangerous.
In 5, 4, 3.
No! Windshield wiper fluid! It's flammable!
I ain't no damn scientist.
Y'all are some terrible fucking fugitives.
I need nasty Mike. Bad boy. I got this. What you don't do?
It looks like they're playing all the greatest hits from the previous movie.
Yeah.
Are y'all still in our clothes?
Just because we black, we still in your shit? What?
Look at your shirt.
Why don't you sing us a little Reba song?
Reba.
Sing your favorite.
I'm a woman. So I'm a strong black woman.
Yeah, because she's not black.
Yes.
What you gonna do? What you gonna...
That ain't no Reba song.
It's from her mixtape.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. It does look like greatest hits from other previous movies. When I see this, I think of something like Fast and Furious, where it's entertainment, fast cars, attractive women, lots of guns and explosions. I think I'd have a good time watching this, but I got to set the bar real low. It looks like more of the same.
This is definitely one where I would have to like have a couple of buddies over or something and watch this. Like, I'm not gonna be watching this with my kids, and I feel like if I watch it by myself, it'll just be depressing. But like if I had a friend or something came over, like this could be fun. I'm not excited for this. Like there's like the scene where he goes into the store and it gets robbed while they're in the store. Like that's literally something that happens in the first movie. I'm pretty sure, like that exact thing.
Just them racing down the street and you know they're driving too fast. That's the same thing from the others. So it's more the same. It looks like they turned the volume up on it a notch or two. It could be fun and exciting, but it's going to be just another one. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think this is.
I might wait to hear back from more people before I dedicate 2 hours to that.
Elder Jim, I feel dumber just for watching that. Oh, all right. Yeah, that sounds like it's pretty much a pass for both of us. It might happen at some point, but neither one of us are looking for that on the streaming service or certainly not in the theaters. All right, next one up. Again, it's already out. It's June 14th. This is Inside Out. We already talked about this one. Do we want to throw the trailer out, or
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm real curious.
Okay,
I'm gonna watch this. I don't care about the trailer at all. I will watch this movie because I enjoyed the first one so much. I've got to see where the sequel goes.
Fair enough. Let's check this one out.
Is Joy coming to you live in Riley's mind? Make some noise! Sadness is in the house! It's anger!
Let me at him! We gotta get our mouth guard, people!
Fear! No, that's not ours! Disgust. Glad to have her on our team. Our little girl's growing up so fast. Ow. Sorry.
It should be nothing but smooth sailing for...
Hello? I'm anxiety. Where can I put my stuff? A new emotion. Oh, I'm sorry. We wanted to make such a good first impression. What do you mean, we? I'm Envy. Look at your hair. Oh, yeah, not happening. That's on we. On what?
It's what you would call the bar down.
What's your name, big fella? That's embarrassment. Welcome to headquarters, embarrassment. Oh, we're doing a fit. No. Oh, nope. Going high. Oh, you got a real sweaty palm there, buddy. Look, we all have a job to do. I plan for the future. You want to sit with us? These girls are so cool. We can't let her know we're excited. I got this. Joy, I'm just curious. Maybe, I could. Thank you. Help. Not now.
Yeah.
That's not gonna haunt us for the rest of our lives at all. I know change is scary. Let's do this.
Hey, Riley!
But we need new friends or we'll be totally alone in high school. Out with the old, in with the new. Riley's life requires more sophisticated emotions than all of you. You can't just bottle us up.
We are suppressed emotions!
Let Operation New Riley begin. You aren't packed yet?
I'm the worst!
Well, that's a preview of the next 10 years.
Come on! Riley needs us. Have I ever steered you wrong before?
Many times.
What is that? It's the sarcasm!
Sarcasm? Boy, are we so lucky we ran into you guys! Boy, are we so lucky we ran into you guys!
Wow, those guys are jerks. Wow, those guys are jerks.
Okay.
All right.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I really love the first one. I want to see where this goes. New emotions, a little bit, maybe a twist on the similar storyline. But I think it has a lot of room. So yeah.
Now I have seen this one. I'm not going to spoil it in any way, shape, or form for you. I will say I did enjoy it. I liked the first one better. They did a really good job with some things. There are scenes that I wish they had left out or trimmed significantly, whereas I feel like there's not really any fat on the first one. But overall, I definitely think this was one that if you do see this one or when you see this one, you will enjoy it. I would be shocked if you come out of this one, if you enjoyed the first one and be like, no, that was trash.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't think I even needed to see the trailer because I enjoyed the first one so much. I got to see where the second one goes. Yep. If I like a movie, I will continue watching movies in that franchise until I no longer like the movies that are coming out. So
cool. Okay, so this next one that we're going to check out is the first one, as far as I know, that I know nothing about. I know the actors in this one. I really liked him. Austin Butler was Elvis a few years ago, and I really enjoyed that movie, or at least his performance in that movie. This one's called The Bike Riders. I know nothing about it. It's not a sequel. It's not anything.
I saw this on your list. I have no idea what it is. I'm going in blind.
Yeah. I wanted to pick a couple of them that weren't just franchise movies, because like almost everything on this list that I'm aware of is a franchise or a sequel or a prequel or something. So this is the first one. Jason Alexander, how did this new Inside Out affect you as a father? Well, in fairness, I do have two teenage girls. So the fact that this movie is entirely about like, oh my God.
It's entirely about a teenager, right? She's 13?
Puberty. My goodness. I knew it was a P word and I just completely lost it. The fact this entire movie is about going into puberty and like changing and all that stuff. It was just one of those like, oh yeah, this is all stuff that's coming. And I thought it did a wonderful job of going over the new emotions, going over why they're feeling that way, going over how to kind of traverse some of that. Not that it's, a parenting guide or a how-to by any stretch of the imagination, but it just kind of puts an interesting spin on like, yeah, that makes sense for what you're feeling, or that makes sense for why you might do something like that. I really enjoyed it. All right, Bike Riders. Know nothing about this one.
Let's go.
Oh, Tom Hardy. I didn't know that.
I'm thinking of starting a riding club.
Why? All those clubs do is sit around talking about motorcycles.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
You don't belong nowhere else, so we belong together.
But you're the man in charge.
I'm Johnny. We're the Randos.
I'm Ben.
I like you guys.
Your boyfriends are getting into trouble.
What the hell were you thinking back then?
Nothing. I saw you squaring off with them guys. What do I need to think for?
Yeah, you and me, kid.
Johnny always loved Benny.
This is our family. Forever.
Hey! Told you to take that jacket off.
You'd have to kill me to get this jacket off.
I don't want any trouble here.
Then I'll let you lead. What about the bar?
Burn it down.
Jeez.
We gotta go. Nah, we don't. You're scared of us.
Oh, that's what I was hoping for. Okay.
These young guys. They ain't gonna follow nobody except somebody who can hold their own.
The club is changing. Running drugs, gambling.
Is that who we are now?
You can't have him, he's mine. If he keeps riding, he's gonna die one way or another.
I need you.
Some people would rather crash than slow down.
June 24th.
Wow.
That looks really good.
Yeah, I never even heard of that. I absolutely like that's at the top of my list so far. That looks amazing. What an amazing cast. This is my kind of story, rise and fall of people and groups. It looks incredible. I can't wait to see this.
Sorry. Yeah, no, that agreed. That's the first one on those lists that we've seen so far where I'm like, I kind of want to see that one in theaters. Like that one actually looks really good. I was waiting for that inspired by true events because that was going to make it or break it for me, whether this was like it's okay or whether that's like, oh, I actually really care now. Because if it was just like Sons of Anarchy set in 1960s, I enjoyed Sons of Anarchy, but I don't need more of it. But the fact this is actually now, inspired by true events and a true story are not always the same thing. I'm sure it's glorified and whatnot. But even the fact that it's inspired by true events puts it definitely a level above for me, makes it much more interesting, much more real. I love Tom Hardy. I don't know Austin Butler from that much, but what I've seen him in, I really enjoy. There was a couple other actors in there that I saw for like a split second or two where I'm like, oh, I know him.
Mm-hmm.
Blanking on them at the moment, but there was definitely a couple where I'm like, oh, this is a good looking cast. Like this could be a lot of
when
fun.
I saw Tom Hardy, it was an immediate, gonna watch this one for sure because he's one of my favorite actors of all time.
Nice.
And so that really, and then just the rest of that cast was amazing. I think when it comes to inspired by or based on true events or based on a true story, I find that real life tends to make better, more amazing stories than anybody can imagine. I think that that always brings it up a level for me. I think that's why I watch war dramas and those types of movies because they are amazing at how far they can push the limits. So you're right. Inspired by true events, that moved the needle a little further for me, but this is already a movie I can't wait to see.
Yeah. Oh shoot, there's some. Oh yeah, because like if you're watching a movie and something absolutely ridiculous happens, and you know that it's a fictional movie, your brain kind of goes, "Oh, that's kind of silly."
Yeah.
But if you know it's a real movie and it's like, "Oh, that actually happened," like they actually did happen to meet up in that way, or this thing, like I don't know, it just really changes the impact for me. So I'm excited for that one. That one actually is top of my list. Now, this next one that we're going to talk about is not out yet. So it's the first one on our list that's actually coming out in the near future. I absolutely loved the first one. I think I was a little bit less enthused on the second one than you were. This is A Quiet Place Day One. So this is a prequel to the Quiet Place franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Now, am I correct in saying that you liked part two quite a bit?
I liked two a lot. I think the first one was the better of the two. The second one was a shift in the style of movie, utilizing the same characters, principle, the same world. But I enjoyed both of them a whole lot. This one is an even bigger shift, being it's a prequel, a different cast, And I'm very curious, but I haven't seen the entire trailer. I've only seen a short teaser for it, and I know that it's coming. So I'm excited to see this. This is probably going to be one where I don't know if the trailer is going to adjust my desire to see it or not. I already want to see it. When I heard A Quiet Place, another one, I wanted to see it because I enjoy the first two so much.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the first one. I think we talked about it before, where my wife wasn't able to make it through it. Not because she didn't enjoy it, but because it was just getting to her too much. It was too tense for her. And then the second one kind of did that aliens thing where it just became more of an action movie as opposed to like a terrifying horror movie. I feel like this is going to go more of that route, more action oriented than terror. I'm pretty sure you actually see the aliens in the trailer, which is kind of, I don't think you did in the first, certainly not in the trailer, and you barely did in the first movie at all. So I really like that kind of thing where like almost like the Jaws effect, where the less you see of the monster, the more scary.
The more your imagination takes place and does a really good job of filling in those details.
Well, or I guess Alien is a better example than Jaws, even because like most of Alien, you're just watching and all of a sudden the background moves a little bit. Like, oh my god, did the background just?
I think the best one
just move?
Is actually the Blair Witch, the first one, right? In that entire movie, you never see anybody, and your imagination is what makes the Blair Witch scary. The first time you see it, it's not scary. The second time you see it, but yeah. So we'll see. Let's hit this one.
All right, let's go. Interesting. Yeah, there we go. Trailer's already playing the sound. That's cool.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that right up into the last second where you see like a dozen aliens falling from the sky. Not that I didn't enjoy it, just that wasn't the tone I was looking for.
I don't know. I kind of liked that. I think that they're drastically changing the scope. This is now in the city. There's lots of aliens. There's lots of people, lots of screaming and noise. You saw that bridge collapsing. That struck a chord with me. I was like, wow, this is a huge thing. And we're going from starting out in silence to a very loud, noisy city that goes quiet, apparently. I'm very intrigued, and we saw some return character in there. The guy that was with her when they were kind of hiding out in that garage. He is from the island in the second movie.
Okay, I didn't put that together.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of an origin there. I think that's great. I think if anything, I'm more interested to see this. We've seen it. We've seen the franchise change a little bit from 1 to 2, and this seems like a very drastically different take on their approach to this movie.
Nice, yeah. I enjoyed that more than I was anticipating. I'll say that. It looks really well done. I like apocalypse and post-apocalyptic imagery, and the aliens or asteroids or whatever it was falling from the sky was really cool. The bridge burning and collapsing, I absolutely loved. Seeing all the like half bridges with the missing parts in the middle, like it looks really, really cool. I just hope they don't overdo it with showing you too much of the aliens.
I want to be attached to these characters. I want to get to know these characters. I'm very intrigued about the girl. why is she walking around with a cat in the middle of the city? Like right off the bat, they set her out like bright yellow sweatshirt. She's got a cat and she's walking in the middle of the city. I have questions. I want to know about this character. And I hope that we get to learn about her through watching what she does and how she reacts to this atrocious situation, rather than like what Disney does and explains everything to you with boring dialogue. I don't expect that at all from this movie. I expect to learn about these characters through their actions and how they react to situations like they did in the previous movie. So I'm very excited about this one.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just gonna say. Is like I hope that there's a lot more show don't tell with her story, if that's what you're gonna get us. Like get us to a point where we care about her. But yeah, don't do it through like 7 minutes straight of just exposition and be like, I don't know.
It looks like she's basically by herself, except for maybe strangers. And I think that sets it up for us to learn about her through her actions rather than dialogue being told. I'm sure they'll have a scene where it's like, oh, what's your name? And she'll tell them your name and her short story or whatever. But hopefully that's about it. I don't know. I'm like I said, a big fan of the franchise. I think this looks good to me. I'm intrigued.
Nice. Is this will you check this one out in the theaters, do you think, or you wait for this one on streaming? Obviously, it's not a pass for you.
I think I would definitely see this I want to see this in theaters, but movie theaters are expensive right now, so I'll probably end up watching this at home. Hopefully, I won't have to watch it on my cell phone or something like that. But I would like to see this in theaters for sure. The only reason I would go see the Furiosa in theaters is if we need to review that for our little show here.
Yeah, and again, like I made you spend $8 or whatever on.
Citizen
Kane. I'm not
Citizen Kane had to rent it twice. Yeah, so we'll see.
The second one's on you. I'll take responsibility for the first one.
I haven't been to a movie in like a year or two, and so there is this new theater nearby that they serve dinner in the theater. I'm kind of wanting to try it out, so we'll see.
Fair enough. All right. Super quickly before we move on to the next, and then I can just edit this one out. But if anybody is watching and hasn't already, hit that follow button. We've also got Brian here, Run7. If you haven't, go follow him, give him a follow so we can give him a shout out. That'd be great. I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, because I'm not making much content elsewhere.
Well, not this week. You generally do. I'm going to put in a couple of links here. One is for the YouTube channel. I've got my video gaming YouTube channel and then a movie YouTube channel. So if you enjoy this content and you want to see previous episodes, head over to this link, hit the subscribe button. That would be wonderful. Also, I was streaming on Facebook with the movie channel stuff, but unfortunately they changed their rules. So you have to actually have 100 followers. So if anybody out there still use Facebook, I know it's kind of archaic, consider going over to this webpage and give it a follow so that I can go back to streaming there as well as on Twitch and YouTube. Other than that, let's get right back into the show, and I'll just clip that out for later. Jacob Holmes really wants to know if you've heard the second iteration of the
No, Holmes, I haven't had a chance to listen to the second iteration. The first one was fantastic, but I have been so busy that I have barely been able to play Marvel Strike Force. I'm struggling just keeping up with my Alliance duties. I dropped an attack in the second round of Cosmic Crucible, and I was like, well, forget this. I'm not even going to try. And I quit, and then my opponent couldn't clear the same team. And I was like, if I would have just played, I would have won. Like, I'm just so busy right now. And so I'm not putting any pressure on myself. I don't want to burn out. I know how it goes when I put pressure on myself when I'm just too busy. And so I haven't done anything, barely been on Discord at all. But Holmes, if you want to send me the link to that, if you haven't already, I will look for it and give it a listen tonight.
So funnily enough, this week I started making Cosmic Crucible videos like everybody else does because they do well and I want to grow the channel. So I made a video on Monday and I did pretty well, got a great score, and I was like, okay, cool. Let's just, like, my opponent hasn't played yet. I'm just going to like manifest the win. And I made like a, 25, like the title of the video was like $25 million or 25 million point punch up and we're winning. And then, like, at noon the next day, I just got, like, 7 different messages from people like, no, you didn't. You lost. And, like, all of his, like, alliance mates started messaging me. I'm like, damn it. So I had to go, like, change the title of that one because I lost the match. The next day, I had a 42 million punch-up. and did horrendously against it. So I'm like, oh, we lost this one. We just got absolutely destroyed. And then my opponent didn't play, so I ended up winning that one, even though I said it was wrong. I'm like, F it, I quit.
Never give up. Yeah, Doolin was telling us in chat, he's like, never give up no matter what you think. Your opponent might not show up. They might have done just as badly as you. Just never give up because you just don't know until the scores hit the board.
Yeah. Updog, they weren't nasty at all. They were very polite about it. They were just like having some fun with it. It was just hilarious how many of them were like jumping in the chat. Like, I think there were, oh shoot, who was it? It might have been either Steven or Strategist or somebody. Like, he was an alliance mate of somebody who is familiar with the show. So I think he let them know, like, hey, by the way, Reaper of Souls, like, he's playing you today and he's bragging about winning and you haven't even played him yet. So they went all in. It was fun though. It's all good. Gnomes, Brian is run 7.
Go post a video, Gnomes. Quit making fun of me. Just go post a video.
It wasn't Strategist or Steven. Well, now I'm super curious. I'll have to go back and find out who it was. Anyways, okay, so the next movie, we're going back into it. The next movie that I want to talk about is actually based off a video game. Have you ever played the Borderlands franchise? It feels like it's up your alley.
I love Borderlands. I didn't like when they went to the moon. I didn't like the moon jumping, the low gravity version. I played that for like 10 seconds and went, nope. But all the other Borderlands games, I absolutely love. They're some of my favorite video games to play. Surprisingly enough, I've never beaten any of them. So, because before I get to the end, I usually respec my character hundreds of times. I always do that. And I ended up not completing it before another Borderlands game would come out and I'd go jump on it. I'm playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland right now and loving that. So I know what trailer we're going to be watching and, well, let's just see the trailer.
Yeah.
What? I'm expelling the excess lead. Oh, big bullet coming.
Look at that hair.
This has to happen now. Don't judge me.
I mean, it looks legit.
Yeah.
Keep it down. Don't want to.
I recognize everybody else. Who's Kevin Hart supposed to be?
He's the military guy, the combat build that's kind of the jack of all trades.
Okay. The one I never played.
Yeah, I think he throws up shields and turrets in the game.
What are you doing? I needed a gun. So you asked for it, Tanner.
Experience it in theaters and IMAX August 9th.
That was, I feel like I saw some semblance of a trailer for that one before, and it was definitely not that.
Yeah, I think that was a shorter one than what I've seen. I've seen one where they're driving a car and jumping in the air and stuff like that.
Well, that was almost like a scene from the movie as well, whereas the one I saw, I believe, was more like little clip here, little clip here, little clip there. It looks, I want to say it looks good, but I don't mean it looks like I want to watch it. It looks like a movie version of the game. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't try and adapt anything. They're just like, no, we're just going to take that and put it over here exactly as it is. And so in that sense, it intrigues me.
It has that feel. Okay, so when Fallout, the TV show, came out, I looked at it, at the trailers and stuff, and I went, ooh, this might not be very good. And then I got into the show, and it's one of my favorite shows. It was so amazing to watch. This one, I'm looking at it, and I'm going, I'm pretty sure they didn't do to Borderlands what Fallout did with their show. I think they are going to miss the mark on this. It has all the Borderlands pieces in it, and I'm not that excited about it. I like Jack Black, but his voiceover of Claptrap just doesn't feel right to me.
Kevin Hart, you not get whoever did Claptrap. You don't need his face to be memorable. It's just a voice. Why wouldn't you get the actual actor who did Claptrap?
Why not? Yeah, that's what I would do. And that Kevin Hart in that role as, I forget the
Roland
guys.
Is what they're going
Roland, thank you, Roland. That's not the Roland from the video game for sure. I think I saw Tiny Tina in there. that's not the psycho chick from the video game that I'm so in love with. Like, that little girl in the game is what an incredible character. And I don't think they nailed it. So I think it feels like they came in like for a cash grab on this one and didn't really put it together. I'm definitely not going to see this in theaters. I will watch it, but I will be prepared to abort halfway through this film.
This is definitely one I will tentatively watch on streaming. I'll definitely check it out for sure. Not something I'm going to spend money on to go to the theaters for. I feel like the Borderlands humor is so singular to Borderlands, and it's definitely not Jack Black's or Kevin Hart's style.
Right.
So I feel like it's going to be very Kevin Hartified. I'm going to throw it out there right now. The Rock is going to be a cameo in this movie at some point. Just a little bit part. He's not going to be a major character, but he's going to be in this at some point. And I mean, I don't know. I find Kevin Hart sometimes really funny and sometimes really annoying, and it's too early to tell which one of these this is going to be.
Yeah. The humor in the video game, the characters you play are insane, and it's very gritty.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel, these characters feel very slapstick and silly, and I'm not into it. So I don't know. I'm very hesitant about this, but I am such a big fan of the game. I'll give it a go and we'll see where it takes me.
Strategist here. The trailer makes it look like Kevin Hart's playing Kevin Hart. Please name me a movie where Kevin Hart doesn't play Kevin Hart.
Right. There's only one character Kevin Hart has ever played, and that's himself.
Yeah.
And honestly, he's a worse version of himself in the movies. That's what's so sad.
Yeah. This is actually a good point. The Rock would have been a better Roland. I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe they couldn't get The Rock, and so they had to go with Kevin Hart instead.
Jacob here is saying this was shot while The Rock was back with WWE, so he might not have been available. That might be a legitimate thing. But yeah, I it's not a pass, but it's a very tentative stream for me.
Yeah.
All right, now the next one here is not a franchise I'm super familiar with, and I realize a lot of people are going to yell at me for that. This is actually the only one on the list that is a Netflix release, not a movie release, but I was curious enough to talk about it. So this is actually Beverly Hills Cop. I think it's called Axel F, which obviously Axel Foley. Are you a Beverly Hills fan at all? Beverly Hills Cop fan?
I really like Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2. So I'm curious about it. I saw this on the list and I was like, oh, okay. Are they bringing Eddie Murphy in for the cameo and they're going to have a younger version of Axl Rose? Is this going to be his junior or something like this? Like, what is that? I don't know. So I haven't seen this trailer. I know nothing about it. I am very intrigued. I hope that they could kind of reboot or bring to life those movies, because back in the day, I thought those were some stellar films, sort of a buddy cop by himself, you know? So I'm very curious about this. I hope that this one will be a good trailer that gets me excited for it.
Nice. I've only ever seen the first one. I enjoyed it well enough, but I've seen it once by myself, so I got no emotional attachment to this. If this is great, fantastic. If this is terrible, could care less. Let's check out the trailer.
In Beverly Hills.
What the hell was that?
Let me guess. Foley.
Did you say Foley? Foley! They stole a helicopter! I didn't realize that you couldn't really fly a helicopter. Otherwise, I would have came up with a different idea. I told you it was a bad idea. Oh, he shot my rotor off. Shit.
You know, this is very embarrassing. You know, part of me rather get locked up than get put in this little Fisher-Price looking squad car.
Jane, hey, this is your father. Before you hang up, I'm in town. I've been arrested. Hello?
You sure y'all paying y'all's bills? Because this phone don't work.
This isn't my first time in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, I saw that. 84, 87, and then 94.
Is that Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Changed
Yep.
a bit.
Wow.
What brings you back to 90210? I got a call from Billy.
He's in trouble now.
What do you want from me?
I want you to be a cop again. You gotta do something.
Axel, if you damage any city property,
You're in a snowplow?
Yeah, we in a damn snowplow. What's the problem? A lot of blind spots in the snowplow.
I'm on an undercover mission with Ach, wait for it.
You're pissing off a lot of people.
That means we're getting close. Y'all safe? Everybody safe?
There's no seatbelt in the middle.
The hell with the seatbelt? We on the edge.
We're gonna need some backup.
Whoa! What are you doing?
Getting us some backup.
God, I missed you, Axel.
All right.
Okay.
That looks like a. Whoops. Oh no.
It looks like they're bringing back Axel Foley for another round. Could be good.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it looks honestly, it looks like a better version of Bad Boys. Like it looks funnier than Bad Boys did. It looks less ridiculous while still being fun.
Yeah.
More so than Bad Boys did. Like of the two of them, I'd rather check this one out. And luckily enough, this one is free. Like there's no movie theater option. It just goes straight to Netflix.
Right.
So
it's not a reboot or anything like that. They're not bringing in a new character. Eddie Murphy kind of looks amazing for his age in the trailer. He cracked some jokes that had me laughing during the trailer. So I mean, okay. I think it could be better than I was hoping for.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a shot. Like I said, I enjoyed the first two. I think there was a third movie. I don't remember, but obviously it wasn't that good since I can't remember it. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. It's got a lot of cameo appearances from some funny people. Yeah, I think you, as you say, a better version of Bad Boys. That kind of rings true with me.
Thank you for that, strategist. Yeah, it did its job. I went in not knowing this existed. I watched the trailer, and I'm leaving the trailer going like, yeah, I'll check that out. Like, I already have a Netflix subscription, so it doesn't cost me anything other than 2 hours of my life. I can bail at any point, but that looks fun, and that's really all I'd be looking for from an Axel Foley movie. I'm
curious how hard Netflix will recommend that movie to me in my list, because Netflix tends to know me better than I know myself, and it will recommend movies to me that I wouldn't normally click on, and then finally I will click on it and go, that's the best movie I've seen all year. And so I'm curious what Netflix thinks I will think of this movie.
Fair enough. Off topic, but super short. I looked up a trailer for, I think it's Primer is the one you told me to get.
Yes.
I cannot find that movie literally anywhere, any streaming service, not even to rent. It just doesn't
Really?
exist in the world. But the trailer looks interesting, but tells me nothing about the movie. So I'm glad you described it, because otherwise I'd be like,
oh yeah,
okay. But
I wonder where that's at.
Okay, so somebody was asking about Alien Romulus. I know you want to get out of here in decent time, so I'm cutting a couple from the list that we wanted to talk about.
Oh, we're definitely talking about Alien Romulus.
I was figuring that was going to be on your list. So that one's staying. Deadpool is staying. And I'm curious to watch the Twisters one, even though I'm not super excited for it. And then the only one I'm thinking is maybe Beetlejuice, and then we'll call it a night and get out of here.
That sounds great. Yeah.
Cool.
That sounds great.
All right. I will load that one up. Now, you sent me the Romulus trailer a while ago. I never did check it out because I figured we'd do like a trailer reaction, or I would do one on my own, either way. So I haven't seen this one. I saw the very first Deadpool trailer, but I haven't seen this more recent one. I was trying to avoid it before it came out, so I would walk into the theater as blind as possible. I know nothing about Beetlejuice or Twisters. So like all four of these ones are completely, well, Deadpool's is not completely new, but the other three are completely new to me, and I've not seen this version of the Deadpool Wolverine trailer. Of those four, which one are you most interested in?
What's my list of four?
Twisters, Deadpool Wolverine, Alien Romulus, Beetlejuice 2.
Okay. I think I'm very interested to see Alien Romulus because I'm a huge fan of the Alien franchise along with Predator. However, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to enjoy Deadpool the most. So I think Deadpool is probably the one I'm most excited to see. I'm worried I'm going to walk into Aliens Romulus and be so very disappointed. It's so very let down.
You've watched the last 7 Aliens movies and you know what to expect.
Because I've watched everything. I actually enjoyed some of the more recent additions more than most people. I found them acceptable and enjoyed them for what they were. But I think that this is going to be the worst. The Alien Romulus looks like it could be the worst parts of everything.
Okay,
so
let's check that one out because I don't know what you're talking about yet, and then we can actually discuss it when I have a better understanding. Cool?
Yeah.
All right. Alien Romulus, share.
Is this really where you want to spend the rest of your life?
You know I don't.
Then this is our only ticket out of here.
What's happening?
There's something in the water.
What do you mean there's something in the water?
I don't know, there's just something in the fucking water.
Oh no.
Fucking thing's hunting us.
Open the door, come on.
Run.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Okay.
I'm so worried that the trailer is going to be the best part of this movie. Because
Zager is saying exactly what I was thinking. Like, it looks good. It's back to a confined ship. Like, that's exactly what I want my Alien movies to be. I know you're a bigger fan of Aliens than Alien.
Oh, I think they're both fantastic. I think they're two incredibly different movies.
Well, I agree. I agree with that entirely. I do enjoy both of them. In theory, I think Aliens 2 holds up a little bit better than Alien does, or at least I'd rather watch it than Alien.
Yep.
But in theory, I like the idea of the Alien movie more. Kind of like that thing.
Confined spaces, no weapons to fight back.
You don't know what you're doing. Like, you don't know what the enemy is or how
trapped in a labyrinth. Everything's dark. Yes. And it has a lot of that. Like, we see that shuttering iris door opening up. It looks very painful and jagged and dark. That kind of imagery is flooded throughout this film. We saw that, from directors and all the people, based on Ridley Scott, who is from all that, those things like Evil Dead, those things are like, okay, these are things in cinema that I enjoy or I'm excited. I'm curious how they're going to influence this film. I see lots of stuff from other movies. You hear the motion tracker sound. You see the laser lights of the scanners. You see the slime and the acid burns, and of course the xenomorphs themselves. Really scary stuff. A very young cast. I'm kind of curious why it's such a young cast.
Yep.
But I have been surprised by new actors coming in. They can save some money by bringing in new people and find some fresh talent. So if they did find good actors for this movie, it could be amazing. But I'm just so worried, and I'm so hesitant to get excited about this because I have done it before where I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. And I go in and I'm like, that was terrible. I'm so pissed off that they're ruining my franchise. So
I think the last Alien movie that I saw was I think Prometheus is the one where it's like back in time and they kind of discover the alien egg for the very first time, and they have that like giant wheel ship that they're running away from.
Mm-hmm. It crashes on the ground. It's rolling slowly as they're trying to run out from underneath it.
Yeah. So that was the last one I watched, and while there were concepts in that I really liked, the actual execution of the movie just. Oh, is it? Oh shoot, is TF muted? I don't know what TF is, but I think he's just messing with me. It's T-Daz. Realized the name after I read the message. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. So I really like the concepts implemented in that movie, but the movie as a whole did nothing for me, and I've not really watched any of the Aliens since then. I'm not as familiar with the franchise as you are. So this looks, I dare say, new and interesting again, simply because it's been so long since we've had a good Alien movie. We've had a bunch of trash ones. We had like the Alien versus Predators and stuff like that just do nothing for me. But this is the first one I'm kind of like, again, I don't know that I'm seeing this one in theaters, although now that I say that out loud, that would be actually a pretty cool experience on the big screen if it is going to be more of like a horror movie like Hunting style, you know what I mean? Like sometimes that audience experience is actually worth it versus sitting alone in your basement. I don't know. This is kind of on the borderline between will I see it in theaters or am I going to wait for this to stream? And I think it really comes down to word of mouth. Like when this one comes out, if people are like, this is amazing, you have to see this, that'll just push it that little bit over where I'm like, yes, I will check this out. But if this comes out and bombs and everybody's like, this sucks, then it could fall straight down to, I'll just pass it.
I have so many questions for this though, because this doesn't look like it follows Prometheus and Covenant. It looks like it's almost a standalone movie. So I want to know, how do the alien eggs get there? How do the face huggers get there? Why are these people here? Like, what is going on? So I have tons of questions. Where does this fit into the timeline of things? It almost looked, if it wasn't Ripley there at the end with that alien like screaming in her face, then who was that? Because that was obviously an allusion to Ripley and some of the scenes when the alien gets right up in Ripley's face and starts hissing at her. So how does Ripley play a role in this? Is this Ripley's daughter that was lost that she lost when she, traveled forwards through time because of the whole sequence in Alien 2? I'm very curious. There was a video game, Alien Isolation, that is Ripley's daughter, and she's trying to find out about her mother. And it was an amazing video game. It was a lot of fun, a very creepy video game where you're trying to not get killed by alien the whole time. And I'm curious, is that what's going on? I don't know. I have a lot of questions, so I definitely want to watch this, but I'm going to be waiting to see, hey, is this good enough to go see in theaters? What kind of scoring is this going to get from the usual places? What's the word of mouth on this? So if it's good, I'm going to go see in theaters.
Now, you're a bigger Alien fan than I am, as we've discussed. If this has nothing to do with Ripley and this is completely its own storyline, like same universe, but not directly, is that going to be a plus or a negative for you? Because a lot of the problems I have with Star Wars is you got this entire universe and everything revolves around Skywalkers, and it's like, no, let's meet some new people. Right. Do you feel the same way with Alien, or you want to keep it in the family with Ripley? What if this is new? This is her dying off screen that we never got to see after 2.
So I don't care either way. If the story's good, if the characters are compelling and interesting, and I want to know more about them, if it doesn't break some of the rules that have been put in place by previous, that's kind of the thing. What rules are they going to follow? Are they going to go Prometheus Covenant rules? Are they going to go Alien 1 and 2, 3-ish rules? Is this going to be like an Alien 4 Resurrection kind of rules? And that would be a travesty. Are we going to see a Predator ship flying around at some point, which would be horrific as well? So what rules are they going to follow? And then are these actors able to really pull me in and make me care about them? And is it going to be scary?
Yeah.
The trailer looks amazing, but the trailers to these movies have notoriously gotten me way too excited and let me down.
The X-ray of her chest when she's kind of X-raying herself
cool, huh?
was a very cool effect.
Yeah, that was very cool.
I could have lived my entire life without actually seeing a face hugger violate somebody's mouth. That
Well,
was a
there-
little flower. I was like, oh,
That's pretty gross.
No.
That's pretty gross. But we've seen that scene in other movies, and they took it to another level with that little clip in there. You know, with the actual orifice that was going towards his mouth, and it makes it that much more gross, you know, because it used to be, hey, this is a big creepy spider that jumps on your face. Now it's even worse. Like they're showing you the horrors of being impregnated and how it happens, and that's pretty scary. And so, I mean, Ridley Scott knows his stuff, and there's some other names attached to this film that I'm excited for.
Out of curiosity, again, I just don't know the lore as well as you do. If you're impregnated or whatever you want to call it, and the host dies, will the alien die, or will it still just feed off of you and come out?
In the comics, usually the alien dies, but it like they've shot people before, and the alien was about to burst anyway, and so it does, and it's not a big deal. But
That's
yeah,
how far along the cycle it is, I guess.
but yeah, it needs a living host right up until the end.
Okay. We probably have time for one more. Lord Richter was asking, what is the last movie that you saw with your family in theaters? We talked already about mine. I just saw Inside Out 2 with my family at the drive-in recently. You're saying it's been quite some time. Do you even remember what the last movie you saw with your family is?
I think when I went with I went and saw the Mario movie. That was the last one I saw in theaters. I took my boys to it, and I wasn't as excited about that. There wasn't enough
totally
Easter
fair.
eggs in the Mario movie for me.
There was a ton of Easter eggs. They were just all very like, oh, okay. Like there was nothing that felt impactful or interesting. You know?
Yeah.
It was just like, okay. Yeah,
I mean, it
recognize
was
that.
they had all the Mario stuff in it, but I don't know. They didn't like utilize it to inspire me or make me laugh or anything. So it's kind of like, okay. I think the biggest thing was like the 2D running across the screen in the very beginning as they're late for their job. That was probably the most interesting one.
All right. So again, if we've got time for one, we've got Deadpool Wolverine is probably going to be the biggest hit amongst the three that we've got less, but it's also the one I know the most about, whereas I know nothing about Twisters or Beetlejuice 2. I'm kind of leaning towards Wolverine. Deadpool Wolverine. What do you think?
Sure. We can watch all these trailers. It's fine.
You sure?
I'm feeling lively. I took a little nap before we got going, so if we run a little bit late, let's do it. I'm having a good time, man. This is the first time I got to go live all week, so let's have a little fun. We'll get through what we can.
All right. Then I'm actually going to push Wolverine to the end and make people stick around for a while.
Okay.
So we'll go with Twisters next because I know nothing about this one. I mean, you've probably seen the original.
I heard this was coming out. I think I may have seen a teaser trailer, but I'm very curious to see, is this a reboot? Is it a sequel? How does this connect to the original movie? So, yeah, lots of questions.
I think it's a complete remake. I think it has nothing to do with the first one. I'm willing to be 100% wrong on that one. Let's check this out and see what we think. I want a cow to just come flying in.
The once-in-a-generation tornado outbreak continues across Oklahoma.
We've never seen tornadoes like this before, and we need your help.
No, I don't chase anymore.
Kate, we can save lives.
I'll give you 1 week.
All right, fellas. We got PhDs from NASA, FEMA, and Kate. She's the smartest person I know.
Hey, dudes. This is interesting. Who are they?
It's Tyler Owens. Calls himself a tornado wrangler.
If you feel it,
Scared of nothing and I'm scared to death.
And our crew is not like your crew.
I can't breathe and I catch my breath.
We don't need PhDs and fancy tech. Sometimes the old ways are better than the new.
Well, you can always trust a guy who puts his face on a t-shirt.
Those grills would do as much as you think they
Are
would.
those fireworks?
Yes, ma'am. You got quite the reputation, city girl. You think you can disrupt a tornado?
In theory.
Oh,
But in
that's
the
Dorothy
field,
from the movie.
In the moment, I got it wrong. We never had a chance.
You want one?
Are you seeing this?
We got twins! Twins!
They're combining. Go faster.
Let's ride. It's all right to be scared. Fear's the reason you do it. You don't face your fears, you ride them. You ever see anything like this?
Fire tornado.
Hold on.
I just realized it did the Aliens thing. Just added a S to make it a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, one thing that came to mind is like your region has actually just like been rocked by a couple of tornadoes.
We just had a tornado,
right?
yeah. And by the way, tornadoes don't usually combine; they split. But
sure.
But yeah, they don't usually make them out of fire either. But but that looked fun too.
Pandemic was like, okay, is that a thing?
Yeah, where's the Sharknado? That's right, Green Tuckian. It looks fun. You know what? This actually looks more fun than the Bad Boys trailer to me. It's obviously way over the top. It looks like they just completely ignored the first movie and redid it, maybe. I mean, we saw lots of allusions to the first movie, lots of similarities here, but they turned the volume way up on it. I was waiting for the flying cow scene. They've got to have that in the movie, right?
Yeah.
So,
I don't remember the names of the characters from the first movie to be like, oh yeah, that's clearly Helen Hunt's character. That's Pullman's character, whoever it is. But we saw Dorothy and I'm like, okay, I definitely remember Dorothy. So
yeah. And by the way, those augers on the pickup that drill down into the ground, that doesn't work. Sorry.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I don't think that's going to work as well as you think it is, bud. Like,
you dug yourself 2 post holes in the ground when your truck gets sucked away. That's all you did right there.
Also, windows. So
yeah. Yeah, it looks ridiculous. Like this is one you're just going to watch tornadoes and stuff blow up. Yeah. I do like the lead guy. I just watched Anyone But You, and he was funny in that. He's a cool character. I think like this is one I'll probably watch with my wife, and it'll just be something silly, and we shake our heads to it.
Yeah, this is definitely. If I watch this at all, it'll definitely be a streaming service. This is not what I'm spending money on.
Oh, absolutely not. No,
it looks silly fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to Beetlejuice. Now, have you seen? I mean,
I've seen none of Beetlejuice. The only one of these that I've seen is. I've seen the first one. Yes, of course. That's a classic. That almost made it into my top 20 list. It's amazing.
Oh wow. Okay,
I like Michael Keaton. For you. Yeah,
I've enjoyed it. It's not anywhere close to my top 20 list, so we'll see how this one does if this grabs my interest whatsoever. I think it's interesting that you're bringing Beetlejuice back. What 30 something years later? Like I love Michael Keaton. He does a fantastic job, but he doesn't look like he did in 1985. We'll see. I don't know the dead age, but here we go. I have to play.
Here's a preview. Be warned, it's intense.
Liking the soundtrack.
Is that Wednesday?
Yeah.
Can't believe Grandpa's dead.
That's
the movie just went up a notch for me.
Yeah, sometimes I think life is harder.
That's a dark thing to hear your daughter say.
When I was a teenager, a trickster demon terrorized our entire family and tried to force me to marry him. I believed he was gone forever until you found this in the attic.
Ew. Who's Beetlejuice?
Don't ever say that name.
Beetlejuice.
No, Astrid! I am serious! If you say his name 3 times, he will appear.
Beetlejuice.
The juice is loose.
I'm gonna make you so happy.
The living. The dead. Can they coexist? That's what we're here to find out.
Where is Beetlejuice?
Where's Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice!
Feel free to express yourselves. Don't be afraid.
You're a figment of my imagination.
Really? Is this a figment of your imagination?
Oh, I didn't know I could do that.
Wow. That trailer turned me off to the movie.
Yes. Okay, cool. I'm glad that I'm not alone on that.
I actually want to see this less now. Like at first I was like, oh sweet, it's got Wednesday in it, but that was the highlight right there. And then everything kind of went downhill from there. Like, I don't know. It didn't look good. It just didn't look good.
It was one of those ones where I'm watching it and I was just like, I think this is my first official like straight up pass. And then I was like, you know what? My wife is going to want to watch this. Like I'm going to end up seeing this on streaming because my wife and kids are going to want to see it.
Well, tell me how it goes because I think I'm going to sit this one out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first one that we've seen, I think, today from what we've gone over. I'm just like, I have no interest. Michael Keaton looked better in the role than I was anticipating him looking, but the aesthetics, humor, all of it just looked like the 1985 version.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I really don't want to see that movie now. It's ugh. And Michael Keaton now, the character Beetlejuice is kind of haggard and beat up in the first place. So it really doesn't matter if he hasn't aged well or not because he's going to look like Beetlejuice. But even his role in it seemed, I don't know, like maybe there wasn't enough of him and there was too much of the other stuff. And I don't really care. I just, I don't want to see that.
Yeah. I don't know why. Just, I don't want to watch this movie. And yet I kind of want them to make a third movie just so they can have Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Like, I want them to get there, but I also don't want to watch it. So it's like, all right, sure. I hope somebody really enjoys this one. It's just not my aesthetic either, right? Like it feels like that, almost like that Hot Topic style, like this and Nightmare Before Christmas. Like just neither of those have ever been really up my alley. So it's not even like it's like, oh man, like it doesn't look good, but it also looks very much an aesthetic that I don't have interest in. Whereas something like Furiosa, you could get me on board faster, even though I didn't really like the trailer for that one either. Like at least that's post-apocalyptic, like that's up my alley. The Quiet Place, like that's right up my alley. Like those
there were lots of
feel to them that I want to watch.
There were lots of sequences in that trailer that were bright sunny days. And it took away from the spooky aspect of Beetlejuice and what goes on in that. Now, I know in the original, there were some bright sunny days and stuff also. But I remember the first movie being pretty creepy when I was a kid watching it. And this one didn't feel creepy. It felt, I don't know, thrown together. I don't even know how to explain it. But watching that trailer made me not want to see the movie.
Yeah. In fairness, you were probably 5-ish when the first one came out, and 40-something when this one came out. So I wouldn't expect one to feel like that and creep you out at the same time. Like that seems like a big ask, but I agree. It just didn't really.
Did you ever watch Beetlejuice the cartoon? There's an animated cartoon for a while.
I know that I've seen it. I couldn't tell you a whole lot about it, although like maybe I can hum the theme song if you gave me a couple of minutes. But like, yes, I guess the short answer is yes, but not a lot.
Yeah. I think I probably would enjoy that more than watching this movie. I don't know why. I just have no desire to see this.
Edward Scissorhands 2 next. I don't think that that's a thing, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised this year because everything we're looking at, with the exception of like The Bike Riders, is just a sequel or a spin-off or something. So, all right. Well, we're getting a little bit late. We're a little past 11. Let's do this one last one. Talk a little bit about Wolverine and Deadpool. I haven't seen this trailer yet. Have you seen the second Wolverine Deadpool trailer?
No, I've seen the movie bucket. That's it. The popcorn bucket.
I don't know what I would do with that bucket, but I kind of want that bucket.
Right.
But all right, let's check this out. I love that it's a first time for both of us, and then we'll get out of here. How is this this platform seems to be working out quite nicely. I like nobody's complained about sound other than T-Dash trying to get to us. Like,
yeah, it sounds good. I keep getting a message that says, "Oops, you lost connection. We'll reconnect you," but it never seems to actually cause any problems.
There was one point where I could hear you just fine, but your camera stopped, but it lasted for like 3 seconds.
Oh, I had that happen with you as well, but I didn't get a warning about reconnecting or anything that time, but I keep getting it's like every time you play a movie trailer and then we come back, I get this message that says, "Oops, we're reconnecting you," but there seems to be no actual issue.
All right, let's check this out.
Told you, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome anywhere. Now get the fuck out of my bar.
Just give me one more drink and then I'll leave.
Hi, Peanut. I'm gonna need you to come with me right now.
Look, lady, I'm not interested.
All right, well, I'm sort of on the tick-tick, so upsy daisy. Here we go. Oh, whiskey dick of the claws. It's quite common in Wolverines over 40.
You don't want this.
Unless you want to take a deep breath through your fucking forehead, I suggest you reconsider.
Logo.
I'm about to lose everything that I've ever cared about.
Not my fucking problem.
Is that what you said when your world went to shit?
Come again.
This Wolverine let down his entire world.
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
Go fuck yourself.
I don't know anything about saving worlds, but you do.
Trust me, kid, I'm no hero.
You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man. I am soaking wet right now.
Boys are so silly.
This is what I'm talking about. Big slow motion action sequence. Who knows if you live or die? Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Want to do some cocaine?
Hey, cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
What about Bolivian marching powder?
They know all the slang terms. They have a list.
Even snowboarding?
Even disco dust.
White girl interrupted?
Even force bump.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Yes. I can't.
God, they know how to make a good trailer, don't they?
They do.
See, that's amazing. That's amazing right there. We all want to go see that. We all wish that was playing right now.
Oh man, that did such. Okay, so the nice thing is that gave you a sense of what the movie is going to be, but gave you no plot. Like I don't walk into that being like, I know exactly how this is going to end. You know.
It looks like they do maybe some multiverse traveling. We saw Ant-Man's giant skull. Yep. We saw the little spinny Doctor Strange window. I think that bald chick was the from Doctor Strange. I forget the.
Oh yeah, the immortal one or
the immortal. Yeah, the younger version of her. Maybe I'm not really sure. Could be.
I was thinking Cassandra Nova.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? That's the thing. The trailer showed us a lot of things we want to know more about. That's what trailers should do.
Yeah, no, there's so many little moments in that they're just like blink and you miss it kind of things. Like I love I said it, but like the Fox logo just like in the dust there, like his Fox is dead.
Mhm.
You ever read the comic Old Man Logan?
I read portions of it while standing in the comic book store.
That's fair. So there's a couple of different scenes from this that remind me of that. Whether they actually pan out or not, I have no idea. But you've got Hank. What was it called? There's an amusement park, which is where not amusement park, a tourist attraction where Ant-Man died because he's just this gigantic skeleton that they like. What do you do with it, right? So it's just it is there. Hank Falls. It might literally be called Hank Falls, something like that. Which obviously is very reminiscent. But you've also got, and Castles references it here, I think they are at least, where in that universe, Old Man Logan is tricked by Mysterio to kill all the X-Men, thinking that they are villains, thinking that all the villains have attacked at once. So he goes nuts. And of course, they're all holding back because they don't want to hurt Wolverine, but he's not holding back because he thinks it's Sabretooth and he has to go all in. So maybe that is why they're talking about like, oh, I'm no hero, I've ruined everything, and like he ruined, like his world ended and he couldn't do anything about it. I don't know if that's actually what's gonna play in there or not, but I definitely noticed that, and I heard Castles say it here in the chat, and I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm not off base then, because they're thinking the same thing or something similar. They're also saying we see Goliath in there if you watch Loki season 2, I think. Or was it season 1? Maybe it was both. I don't know.
It was the end of season 1. Great scoring, funny jokes. It's, they're the rated R score. It's rated R. Thank God.
That trailer was rated R.
Yeah, that trailer was rated R. I am so stoked and excited to see this. I can't wait. This is probably the number one thing I want to watch is Deadpool.
Yeah. Now this is definitely one that I'm going to be checking out in theaters, if only. I mean, because I want to see it, but also like I listen to a lot of movie podcasts and stuff like that, and it has been a nightmare trying to avoid them all for the last month to not get things spoiled. Once the movie is out, I'm sure they'll all be talking about it, and I'm just like, I can't. I have to see this like day one just so I can keep listening to all the things I want to listen to and not have it like ruin it for me. So this is one that I'd love to go in as blind as possible. I feel like more of the jokes will hit if you don't know any of it's coming. So that's why I was trying to avoid this trailer for as long as possible, but it looks so much fun. It looks like one that I'm definitely going to see in theaters, possibly even a couple of times. See one with a buddy or something, and again take my wife if it's good. But I honestly I can't really see how this one couldn't be good. Like it looks like it's got all the right pieces.
I think it's going to be a winner, and I'm going to go see it in theaters for sure when this comes out. I hope to be there day one. Do people still wait in line to see movies anymore? I remember before COVID, you'd wait in line. It was like an event, and you'd go wait in line with people dressed in costumes or whatever, and it was a big thing. Do people do that anymore? I don't know.
I haven't seen that in a long time. I'm sorry, I have to screenshot this. It ended with you on a very unfortunate face.
I'm pretty sure that the only movie I've seen since COVID is actually the Mario movie when I went with my boys last year, and I think that's it. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's because
oh god,
again, you're welcome.
Thank you.
In Canada, at very least, I have to assume it's the same in the States. Pretty much every theater around me has priority seating, so you can buy your ticket with the seat that you want.
Yeah.
So I haven't had to sit in line. I couldn't even tell you the last time. Literally years.
Oh, so that went the way of the page here. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just do it like before I even leave the house. I'll just like, all right, we're going to buy this one. And that theater's kind of full. Let's wait till the next showing, or let's wait till tomorrow or something. Okay, we can buy these 4 tickets. And it's never been an issue. I know that they've already sold. They're already selling tickets for Deadpool Wolverine. And it's doing incredibly well in just the pre-sales. I haven't bought a ticket yet, but it's definitely one that's, I can't see why.
I know with my new schedule with the family, either I'm going to have to take the kids to go see Deadpool, or I'm going to have to call in sick from work and not tell my wife and tell her that I actually went to work to go see this movie because we're so stretched on time. Do you think I'd be a bad parent if I took my kids to go see this? They're 7 and 10. Yeah, that's probably not a good thing. Yeah, that's probably unacceptable.
I get away with letting my twins watch stuff that they definitely shouldn't. They're 12. And
hopefully my manager's not watching this when I tell him, hey boss, I'm not feeling so good. I got to cut out. real fast too, because it's about to start.
Yeah. I remember hearing when the first movie came out that parents were taking their kids to see it because it's a superhero movie. Who cares?
Right, not understanding it's rated R.
Leaving inside of like the first 7 minutes, it's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, this is a pretty hard R at that too. It's not just like, oh, they said F twice. Like, no. This is about as hard as they get. Like the pegging scene is the first like 15 minutes, I'm gonna say. Like,
right.
they go
Right.
for it.
The like you said, the trailer is rated R. The movie's gonna get worse. But I'm here for it. So this is the number one thing I want to see. I think so. Of the trailers that we previewed today, what are like the 3 that really stood out for you? What are the 3 that make you want to go see them, maybe in theaters or just high on your list of like, I gotta watch this when it comes to stream?
Okay, so Deadpool Wolverine's probably number 1. Not that trailer sold me as hard as some of the other ones did, just because I know I already like those 2 characters and I want to see it as fast as possible before things get spoiled for me, right? So like, that's it's high on the list, but it was already high on the list. Bike Riders looks absolutely phenomenal and came out of nowhere. I did not know anything about that movie. The fact that it's a true story really jumps it up on my list. That one's exciting. And then after that, it might. I'd have to say probably Alien Romulus is the next one that looked the most exciting, but it also feels like it has the highest ceiling, but also the lowest floor. Whereas Quiet Place will probably be a pretty safe. Like it'll either be really good or okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas Romulus could be like amazing or pure crap.
You know what? My list is exactly the same as yours. Deadpool, and then the Bike Riders out of nowhere. What an amazing cast. It looks intense. It looks like it's going to have some great acting. I want to see that. I may not bother going and seeing that in theaters because it's a movie that will be just as effective on a smaller screen. And then Alien Romulus, because I'm such a huge fan, but like you said, it has the potential to be really good or really terrible and let me down. And then the Quiet Place third movie in the franchise looks like it's going to be either great or okay, but at least I'll walk away going, yeah, at least it was okay.
Yeah.
Right on par with you. I think that's great. Surprisingly, after watching the Twisters, I'm kind of looking forward to catching that when it comes to stream. I think that's just going to be fun. I know I'm going to be shaking my head, but I feel like I'm going to walk away from that with a smile.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be tense, but also fun enough that I could watch that one with like a family night with my kids, right? Not my youngest, but my twins. And it'll probably be safe enough. Like there might be an F-bomb here or there, but that's probably the extent of what you're looking at for something like that. Like people are either going to be alive and totally fine or just instant dead. I don't think you're going to a whole lot of dismemberment or anything gory. So that one could be a fun just family movie night at home or something. So there's a couple of here that I like the look of. There's a couple other ones that I passed on pretty quickly, just even inside of the top of the trailer. I think Beetlejuice was easily my least favorite of everything.
That's the bottom. Yep.
But all right, so that's going to be it for today's episode of The Lobby. Next week, I'm actually going to be joined by Purple Sticky to do an episode of The Flicks That Make You Tick. We did one of these with Cleaning Agent already. It was a ton of fun, where he's going to go over his top like 5 to 10 movies, not necessarily his like top 10, so much as just movies that influenced him, saw him as a child, stuff like that. Pretty much whatever he wants to put on that list. I'm leaving it wide open to whoever the guest is. The week after that, actually, Ron, I haven't talked to you about this. My brother is going to be in town, and we're going to attempt to make a Flicks That Make Him Tick with my brother live in person. So he's going to be sitting right beside me. Unfortunately, that probably means we're going to have to share a microphone, which is a little bit unfortunate. But I really like the interaction you can have with somebody when you're right beside them versus, over a screen. So I'm looking forward to that one. It might be a little bit rough audio-wise, but other than that, I think it'll be a ton of fun to do. And then we'll get together the week after that. So we're not going to see you again on this show for probably 3 weeks.
Yeah.
If that's cool with you.
That's
and
fine
then
with me.
in July 18th, I believe it is, we're going to have Cleaning Agent, aka Will, join us for a recurring segment called R Rating, where we're going to take a franchise, different one every month or so, and go over every single movie, rate them, rate the franchise as a whole, and then put them on a board. The first one will be a little anticlimactic because it's just going to go on the board wherever it is. But as we get more and more movies or franchises on that board, we can start actually rating, like, does this franchise belong above that one, below that one? Like, where exactly does this one fit? And I think that's going to be an absolute ton of fun. So make sure you guys hit the follow button here on twitch.com if you want to watch twitch.tv/The Mongoolie Show. If you want to catch that live, or if you want to watch the replays, you can head over to youtube.com/@MongooliesMovies and follow over there, subscribe over there. That would be greatly appreciated. Until next time, this has been Dan and Brian. You guys have a great night. Cool, bud. That was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Ads can't hear you. Whatever. That was just the sign off.
Yeah, you guys didn't miss anything there. Oh, 10:17. We made pretty good time tonight. That wasn't too bad. It was, and as long as we don't have an after party until 1 a.m, like we
I was just going to say, like, we are still live. Just so you don't say nothing. We are live right now. We're just cut, but
I enjoy talking about TV and movies so much that it's hard to stop, and we always have a good time just hanging out anyway.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is one of those things where, like, an hour before we started, I was kind of like, oh, I kind of wish we weren't doing this tonight. I kind of just want to, like, hang it with my kids or something. And then, like, the second we went live, I'm like, no, this is exactly where I wanted to be tonight. This is amazing.
I woke up from a nap and my alarm woke me up and I was like, oh, I just want to sleep through until tomorrow. And then I was like, oh, let's go do this. And as soon as I started turning on lights in the studio, I was like, yeah, I'm ready to talk about some shit. Let's do this.
Yeah,
so
came alive for sure. So that was awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you, everybody who stuck around with us. We're at 46 viewers at the moment on Twitch, which is, I think, the best we've had for one of these shows. So that's
that's
awesome.
pretty good.
We got rated by Comrade Red, and you were in the middle of talking, so I didn't want to interrupt you. But thank you so much. If you're still around, or if anybody's still around from that raid, that was awesome. Thank you again for jumping in and sticking around. So that was really fun. We got Green Tuckian saying, what are your thoughts on the Venom 3 trailer? I haven't seen the Venom 3 trailer, but I think you have, correct?
Yeah, I've seen it. It looks exciting. I want to see a symbiote horse. It looks pretty fun. For me, I didn't like the first movie. I thought the second movie was a slight improvement, and I'm hoping it'll continue that direction for me in number 3. You, however, you said it was a reverse. You liked the first one better, and you thought 2 was a slight decline for you.
A slight decline is a good way of putting it. I thought the first one was about like a B. And then I thought the second one was maybe like a B- C+ kind of. Like, it wasn't like a huge drop off. It just didn't quite do it for me. Updog, this is the second time you've mentioned Fly Me to the Moon. I have no idea what that is. That wasn't on the list. And are you familiar with this, Ron? Do you have any idea what this is?
Fly me to the moon.
That's what I got.
No, I have no idea.
All right. I'm going to have to check that one when we go offline, and I'll respond to Updog after.
All right. I'm going to get out of here. I'll let you play with Stream for a little while longer. How do I close this thing? And by the way, this Restream app is pretty dope. I kind of like this.
I used this like a year and a half ago before I started doing Marvel Strike Force content on Twitch for movies and stuff like that. Because the nice thing about this is if you leave, you just drop out. It just goes back to me being full screen. And then when you come back, I can just bring you in. So if we wanted to have guests on, it'd be super easy to have a guest come in for like 5 minutes and be like, cool, thanks, appreciate you, bye, click, and just get rid of them.
And
whereas
it's been
something like Discord, you have to rearrange like where people are and everything.
It's been real smooth transitioning and stuff. No dropouts or anything. Like Discord's, kind of got some issues. And then I see on this one thing, you've got the chats all together in one.
Yep.
And so you could probably take that somehow and overlay that on screen, I bet. Absolutely. If you want to. That'd be pretty neat. Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. And then you have the chat right there on screen. So if you're doing multi-streaming, how many different places can you multi-stream to with this?
I think with the plan that I've got, I can do 8 different places.
Okay, and then like the free version is like 2 or like 4 with a water stamp or something like that, right?
Yeah, the free one, I think you have a water stamp. You're stuck at like 720 or something.
Okay.
2 different locations. Like it's okay, but it's a little bit rough.
Yeah.
And then when you pay, you can go up to like 4 or something. And then like the one that I have is probably a little bit more than it should be, but it gives you like the multiple audio tracks. So like in post, it makes it way easier to be like, okay. Because like I think when you did the game show with me, you were way louder than me and Doolam, and there was like, other than just literally going through and like clipping every time you talked and lowering the volume, so that took me way too long to edit. Whereas this, I could be like, just turn you down and move on with life. But there's
No,
sometimes
it's-
I don't notice it live. Like I'm just talking to you, and then when I go back and listen to my voice and your voice, it's like, oh, that's
Yeah.
drastic.
Yeah. No, this is pretty cool. I'm gonna have to try this one out, but I'm gonna get out of here and let you have fun with chat. Bye, chat. Bye, everybody, and thanks for having me on, Dan.
Cool. Have a good night.
Later.
Buddy. All right. He says we're gonna hang out and have a good time, but honestly, it's like 11:20 here, so I'm probably also gonna sign off. We'll see if anybody is currently hanging out in Marvel Strike Force lands. I'm sure that's where most of you know me from, or where you're most walking. We got Viscera is the only one on at the moment. So, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna, if you're still there, I'm gonna check out Fly Me to the Moon. I have no idea what that is. So we're gonna see that for a second. And actually, maybe we'll check out the Venom 3 trailer as well. If you guys are still interested in around, let's bring that up real quick. What was it? Fly Me to the Moon? To the Moon trailer. Blam. Again, I mentioned it earlier. If you're able to, again, I'll put it in chat here. I was streaming this to Facebook, but Facebook changed its rules. So now I need to have 100 followers before I can start streaming back on Facebook. So if you're willing to head over to this link and follow that, that would be amazing. No, Jacob, I didn't play the song for him. We were recording a show. I didn't think of it at the very end there. But we'll send it to him and we'll get his reaction. It would have been fun to get his reaction live on air. That's true, but missed it, unfortunately. And I'm sure we won't wait for, it's going to be 3 weeks before he's on the show again. So we're not going to wait 3 more weeks to do it. So he'll listen to it at some point. Let's check this Fly Me to the Moon out. Share screen. Go.
I mean, you know, come on, we got to bend the rules like just this once. So what you're about to see is classified, just a quick peek of Fly Me to the Moon.
NASA needs a marketing specialist, and you are the best.
The Mustang Fastback, 355 horses for him, seat belts for the family. Just lucky that my water didn't break in there. Hi, Ron.
Why sell cars when you could think bigger?
Fly me to the moon.
Liftoff. We have liftoff.
You must be the launch
This is unfortunate because this could be 100% up Brian's alley.
Change plans. Now that we know the whole world will be watching, we need backup of the moon landing.
You mean to fake it?
What?
No one can ever know what we're doing.
I cannot accept that.
They will shoot you.
What is my budget?
11 is a go for launch.
Places, everyone, look sharp.
It's unfortunate that he's not here watching it with us.
If you fake this mission, everything that we have sacrificed will have been for nothing. 5.
This order from the tippy top.
4.
We can't possible the dream.
3. Going around the corner, we'll see you on the other side. 2.
And action.
I want you to walk as if you're carrying your mother. She's frail, but also heavy.
Fly me to the moon.
All right. So nope, that's the wrong button. How do I get back from that? Oh, come on. Sorry, still learning this program. Okay, so that looks really, really good. I like the cast for that one. I don't love that that's going to just fuel 1,000 conspiracy theorists about whether the moon landing was real or not. That's mildly terrifying to me. Nor do I care to get into that right now in the chat, so let's just leave that alone. I would be curious to know the historical logistics, accuracy of that. But it looks fun. I like the cast. Looks good. Exactly, strategist. Exactly. That's what makes me a little bit nervous. I'm watching the Postman. Oh, the Postman, I'm assuming, always rings twice with Jack Nicholson and Jessica Lange. How is it? All right, let's check out Venom 3. As we were saying with Run, I really liked Venom 1. I thought it was really funny. Venom 2 was fine. Weird, but fine. Let's see how Venom 3 looks. Oops.
You should probably know that I have a really dark and unpredictable side to me.
This is a weird
Stop speaking.
I'm giving you a chance, sweetie.
Say when.
When?
I really want him to get the Spider-Man logo at some point in the franchise. I'm shocked he made it 3 movies ago.
What are you? We are.
We're Venom!
We are.
Venom!
No.
Oh!
Yeah, we
are. Venom.
Haven't they already done that before?
Delicious! You take me to all the finest places.
I need to tie him up.
Decapitated all 3 of those 4 people.
We always knew it was impossible.
Delicious! You take me to all the finest places.
I need to tie him up.
He doesn't look well there. I guess I've never really thought about it before, but is Eddie Brock digesting 4 human skulls right now? Like, does he... I think we're not supposed to think about it. That's disturbing, though.
We always knew it was impossible. That we were alone in the universe. And it's our job to make sure that remains a secret.
Let's go get him.
Wasn't that in a different universe?
We are fugitives. On the run, in the shit.
You're living the dream, my friend.
You mean it?
No! Eddie Brock! Mrs. Chance!
Hello!
There has to be a reason they're after us.
Eddie, my own, has found us.
Why is his home care?
Jesus Christ!
There's an army coming that cannot be beaten.
As long as Venom lives, everyone, everything will end.
We may not make it out of this alive, buddy.
Eddie, the time has come.
Yeah, I think it is up
Be honest with me. How fast do you
here we
think
go.
you can get that thing to go without killing it?
Only one way to find out.
All right. I kind of like how excitable the alien is, the Venom. That's actually pretty fun. There's a whole lot of questions that get raised up. Yes, it does look like the same actor who played Mordo. I don't think that's supposed to mean anything. It doesn't look like he is Mordo in any way, shape, or form. It's just a recasting. That's fine. It's not the MCU. But the bar where the little goop of alien is in the MCU. So how does that work? Like, is it Mordo and he's able to transfer dimensions with his sling ring or something? Like, how does that... I don't really understand what's going on there. The horse is hilarious. Eddie interacting with Venom I've always found very fun. I don't really understand why all of a sudden they don't know how to do We Are Venom, when I'm pretty sure that's something we saw in the very first movie. Like the very first time he defends the variety store that he goes to, I'm pretty sure he does We Are Venom perfectly. So I don't know why he got worse at that. That's weird. Funny bit though. I like the bit. It just doesn't really make any sense. I don't know. It looks fine. Like it looks like a Sony made Venom movie, right? Like what are you expecting? I'm not expecting great cinema from it. It just looks fun. Stream got taken down on YouTube. That checks out. Hopefully we can edit it and put it up and it won't be an issue, but we'll see. If they're like, no, you can't play this specific trailer or something, then so be it. Like it might be the Major Tom song there is what did it. Was I don't think we were down for any other videos. I don't have my phone on me, so I can't check YouTube Studio. All right, guys. Sorry, that has been a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I will edit that and get it up as soon as I possibly can over at youtube.com/at the Mongoolies Movie Show, I think it's called for now. So head over there and give that to subscribe if you are willing to. It's absolutely free for you. Hit the follow button here if you haven't already. I'll even make it easier for you and give you the link. There you go. Just saying, I finally watched Boy Old Boys, and I like the newer one better. Sorry, you watched both Old Boys, and you like the American one better? Interesting. Go to bed. We love you. All right, sounds good, Jim. That's exactly what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, Green Tuckin, I think you weren't here when we were talking about it. I did see the Korean Old Boy. I wasn't a big fan. I'm still curious to see the Americanized one. That's a discussion for another day. You guys have a great day. We're going to send you over to Vasira Sable, I guess. And we'll be back Saturday morning with some Marvel Strike Force. You guys have a great day. I don't know where the follow button is now. They changed everything. Here, start right. There we go. Cheers, everybody. And let me know if there's a franchise you want us to do on our rating. We're going to do Mad Max on the 18th with Will and Brian. But if there's another franchise you're interested in, leave a comment down below. We'll catch it later. Or head over to Discord and talk to me over there. Bye, everybody. Have a good night.